Okay, that should be live. Should be. Let me just listen to make sure I sound alright. Okay, that should be live. Yeah, we sound alright. How's everybody doing? How are we doing? So a couple things to plug real quick. In our Discord right now, what we're doing this exact event. If you go up to the new player warrens, you can go to the build lobby list and just post in here that you want to play tonight or anytime I do this type of stream in the future. We will use this lobby to get people to play. Also, if you are a newer player and you're looking for a place to play newer players, I know we've been talking about this a lot recently, but there is a chat called Give Eshin Roll. You just request in here for the role. If I think you're a newer player, it's pretty simple on who is and who isn't. I'll give you the role, and that'll add you to this chat that only newer players and then admins can see. And you can ask some people some questions, but it's mostly a place where you can ping other people to come play. Because there were new people that were posting, and they didn't want to ping at everybody, but they did want to find new people who would play with them. So it's a voluntary role, but if you want to get pinged by other newer players looking to play a couple games for fun, definitely look for that Eshin role. Okay? Okay. Aside from that, plug that. And then this format comes from twitch.tv/Murphalerf, by the way. I try to mention that whenever I can. This is not my original idea. This is content he usually did, and then he took a break from streaming, and the niche needed to be filled, so I started doing that. But yeah, this is his original content. He would usually sit in a lobby and just talk to people about their builds. Basically what we're doing is newer or mid-tier players join the lobby from that list I mentioned, and then they play whatever they want to play. We talk about the build. We say, oh, I liked this part of it. I didn't like this as much. And then we also review their play, where it's like, yeah, when you forgot your manticore in the trees, that was kind of a big deal, right? Okay, that's obvious. But some more subtle things might be like, well, in the Vampire Counts matchup, you had your archers trying to shoot the dragon, whereas when the dragon's swooping around, you can't really hit him. You should be hitting the crypt horrors, and here's why, and that kind of thing. So it's just can help some newer mid-tier players. We won't have like Alfredino on this stream because he's a better player than me, so I don't have any advice for him. Oh yeah, Alfredino, here's what you do. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to help at all. All right. What code? All right. Killer Lion's looking to get in the room. There he is. So I will update the list now that we wait for the second player to come in. And I'm also going to check back on chat. Hello. Oh, yes. Okay, another thing. I've announced this several times, but I do have faction matchups out. For every single faction, this is land battle focused, because I don't know domination mode, so who cares about my opinion? These are just my opinions, but if you want to know how a faction does, you scroll down until you see their big picture on the left side, like in this case, Dark Elves, and this is every matchup. So Dark Elves versus Beastmen, Dark Elf favored. Dark Elves versus Cathay, Cathay favored. In the picture is shown. If it's just a blue line, it means it's even. It's toss-up. Anybody could have it. This bottom thing, if it's checked, it means whoever wins it by a fucking lot. And if it's not you, you should avoid that matchup. And if it is you and your opponent left it open, take that matchup and win it. All right? So there's one of these for every faction out there. If you're looking to learn a faction, you're looking to know what Empire matchups you should get, take them into Kislev, take them into all the demons. You'll do fine. What to avoid? Dwarves, a little bit of beastmen, maybe lizardmen, that kind of thing. So could be helpful. These are just my opinions. You might have a slightly different experience, but I have watched thousands, literally not exaggerating, thousands of replays over casting this game for a year and a half now, and I have played a lot. I've talked to a lot of people who've played. So they're mostly right. I think the people that would argue about it would argue about the details, not about the broad concept. Anyway, that might help. Okay? Oh, and if you want to know why a matchup is terrible, anything with the red check mark at the very bottom of this page, has the exact list and why. Like, beastmen versus Slaanesh. Low leadership goes Burr. Because Slaanesh wins it, they just punish low leadership factions. Beastmen are low leadership. Where's my favorite one? I like all of the I'm you but betters. So Warriors of Chaos versus Demons of Chaos is traditionally extremely Warriors of Chaos favored because they have all the same tools as you, and then they have more tools, and then they have better other portions. So it's like the Demons of Chaos faction is entirely carried by Be'lakor right now. Well, Warriors of Chaos also have Be'lakor. And they have a lot more than just Be'lakor. So yeah, there's all sorts of new stuff on the Discord. Okay. We're playing our worst faction for a second match. Just an FYI, sorry in advance for my Lizardmen embarrassment. Okay, that seems fine. I need to update this list and check up on chat. Yo, you're up first, Killer Lion? Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Overlord isn't home yet, so I'm pumping him down the thing. He's my IRL friend. What up, Stony Strikes? Stony Strikes, my bad. Knighthood, Jeremy, Biggs, Fat Kid at Resets. Resets, I don't know. I'm just having a stroke today. You're chasing rainbows and you improve this message. What up, rainbows? If it's a matchup that involves Cathay, they are favored, but Ogre Kingdoms versus Dowie is not even. Depends. Because Dwarves don't have a ton of cheap anti-large. In fact, they're only anti-large, if I remember correctly, as Slayers. So they do have a little bit of trouble there. Also, Ogre Kingdoms are awash in armor piercing, and their monstrous infantry can push through the front line. That is a lot of positive things to say about Ogre Kingdoms. Their negatives are they're expensive, and they are monstrous infantry, so they can get shot. I don't know. I think it's up in the air, but I can change them as my opinion changes and as the patches change. But for now, it's better than nothing. So ogres are just overall bad. Unfortunately, currently, they are not great. No. What up, Chaz? And Sam. Empire doesn't need buffs. Though, their current strength comes heavily off of cavalry and skirmish play. So if you're not into that, then maybe Empire needs buffs, in your opinion. Which seems fine. Okay, I gotta update this list thing. So we got Cool Umbrella, Biggs, Ever Chicken, Ever Chicken, I'm confused. 7, Stony Strikes. The only thing I'm confused about, Mr. Chicken, if you're out there, is whether you meant you can't play until after an hour or whether you need to play right away if you're going to play. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. And then I can move people around as needed. Also, I know some of these people, and I'll try to move them around. So if there's 2 mid-tier players, I'll have them play each other rather than just go strictly in order where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's Alfredino versus a person who just said they came off of campaign and don't know what they're doing, but it's the order of the list, so that's the order of the list, and we're going with it. Okay. So I got Stone, I got Nevermore, LeBaked. LeBaked and Chaz, and they're waiting on me, so I'll ready up. Okay. So we have 11 people, and then I have to go down past Chaz. Kiara, Guillaume. I don't know if Triumph signed up or if Triumph was just mad. Well, not mad, but I don't know. I don't know if Triumph signed up. And then we have Yo Wandax. Yo Wandax. Kiara. Guillaume. I think I got everybody that was in that list. Let me check again while we load in. Coops. Oh! I almost missed Coops. You can't do that. You can't miss Coops. He doesn't like being missed. He doesn't like being missed. And you know what? He doesn't deserve to be missed. Dangerous wants the Eshin roll. I will allow that. All right. Block comes down. What matchup do we have? I wasn't even looking while I was busy with my own things. Nevermore's here. Nevermore, it's been a little while. How you doing? Just trying to see why Cathay would be favored versus High Elves. We saw it on stream a couple times. Jade Warriors for 500 gold can beat White Lions. You need Sword Masters if your infantry is going to get through the front line, which limits you pretty much to a chariot build. Because your archers are also going to lose because they're unshielded aside from Lothar and Seaguard with shields. And then they'll lose to any archer that's above their price point. And they trade okay against Jade Warrior Crossmen, but yeah. And then also all of Cathay's archers that they're going to bring in that matchup are going to be armored. So if you do pierce the front line with Rangers or Illyrian Reavers or something, you're fighting armored archers with non-armor piercing stuff. So for armor piercing, you pretty much have to go chariots. And if you have to go chariots to win something, Terracotta Sentinel and Miao Ying are just going to kill you. The High Elves don't have cost-effective armor piercing backline harassment tools, and versus Cathay, that's kind of all that matters. Or you need armor piercing shielded ranged of your own, which High Elves also don't have. Now, I'd love to be proven wrong, but we haven't seen a ton of that matchup, so that's my opinion on it right now after seeing it like 3 or 4 times. But if we see it like 10, 20 times and High Elves start pulling out some stuff I didn't expect and start actually doing really well, then, you know, then I'll change my opinion on it. But for now, that is what it is. All right, Dwarves versus Beastmen. Killer Lion on the Beastmen. We have Taurochs, Minotaurs, Razor Gore Herds, 4 of them. We have some Harpies, Gore Herds with shields. And then we have 5 Ungor Raiders. Is there a second Harpy I missed way over here? No? Okay. And then we have 1 Tuskor Chariot. Overall, the build's fine versus Dwarves. Maybe like 1 or 2 too many archers. Archers in general are only going to be good versus Gyrocopters or Slayers in this specific matchup because the Dwarves are going to have high armored, shielded, ranged assets. You can see the Quarrelers have 80 armor. Oh, these are the Great Weapon variant. Interesting. Okay, more on that later. But basic Quarrelers would have shields, but still 80 armor is going to be a lot for those Ungor Raiders to get through. Gore Herds are fine. They're a fine pick. They're going to get blasting charged, so anything besides Best Score is going to have a hard time getting through the Dwarven front line, but Gore Herds are an okay pick. Tuskor Chariots are great. 1 Harpy is fine in case of Gyrocopters. Razor Gore Herds are an excellent pick. Glad he took 4 of them. Minotaurs also are okay. They tend to struggle these days, but Dwarves is one of the few matchups where they actually have decently placed. Lord of Shadows is a great pick. Pendulum sucks right now, unfortunately. Pit of Shades is excellent, so I would just cut Pendulum because it's nerfed. In spirit, it's a good spell for this matchup, but like the numbers, they just took the numbers down way too far. So now it sucks, but Pit of Shades is a good pick. Lord of Shadows is a good lore to have. And Taurochs is a fine lord. No issues with him whatsoever. Great armor piercing, great push-through value, good at dealing Thoric. Another solid choice is honestly Kazrek after some of his buffs. Kazrek on his Jarek can be pretty cool. And another good choice is Morgar. Yes. For the Dwarves, Gyrocopter, Brimstone Gun. Gyrocopters in most matchups are risky to take, but they can pay off. Now this Beastman build is quite ready for them, so we'll see how much they can do, but it is low cost. It's only 800 gold, which is the same cost as like, well, it's almost the same cost as a Razor Gore Herd, so you get the point. Triple artillery to force the Beastman, and we have bolt throwers and 2 cannons. Longbeards is the front line, only 1 minus with blasting charges. Nope, 2 way over here. Quarrelers with great weapons. Then we have Thoric Ironbrow. He is, in my opinion, by far and away, no contest, the best Dwarven Lord. He has, for some reason, buffs that gave everyone around him perfect vigor in that circle you see, which, you know, is the whole frickin' box, is going to have perfect vigor through the whole game. ITP. He also has a global melee attack and cause fear that is on cooldown. It's not limited to number of times like Imrix is, the Dragonhorn, so he's just stupid good. Thanes are underrated. I really like Thanes as like single target duelists, because if you strip him down naked, which it looks like this guy almost is, he's like 500 gold, which is insanely cheap for a duelist. double cannon, bolt thrower, quarrelers, the great weapons, and then longbeards, like we said. First thoughts are miners with blasting charges are extremely effective against low leadership and low armored factions, which the beastmen are both. So I think you should max out on them when possible. Quarrelers are great weapons. Doesn't give their missiles armor piercing. It gives just their melee armor piercing, which makes them, in my opinion, not very effective. Personally, I like the quarreler pick. I would just take the normal quarrelers instead of that. Triple cannon's fine. Bolt thrower's fine. People have liked those things for a while. Builds are all overall okay. I would just get more minus the blasting charges, cut the great weapons for regular quarrelers, and otherwise you're fine. You're fine and dandy. The beastmen advance was a little bit broken up as some of the archers stopped to shoot at gyrocopters. And while they're doing okay damage, they are needed up here, unfortunately. Ooh, another thing you don't have is slayers. Maybe cut one cannon and get a slayer or something, because, yeah, what's going to kill these Razorgore herds? But the Razorgore herds already snuck into the backline, just got around that terrain piece, so very nice. And it does look like we're going to get a rune of... The Rune of Wrath? No, not the Rune of Wrath and Rune. I forget. The Fiery Rune. Does a bunch of damage, but it is going to rampage them, and they won't quite route off just yet. So this is something you want to watch out for when you're playing Rush, is you really want all of your elements to hit at the same time. You see how these guys aren't quite here yet. These guys are already routing, and these guys are just about to hit. Those are 3 different distances of attack, and that's not bueno, unfortunately. Like when Killer Lion deployed like this, and his opponent actually ended up being over here, all of his beastmen infantry are stalked, so actually they can't be seen until the gyrocopters got too close. So he did need to even out that line again before advancing, but instead he came in at an angle, so this side hit first, this side's hitting second, and now this side is hitting third, as we can see. But his target selection is very good. Now, I wouldn't just constantly talk shit about things. There are good things going on. He has selected all the right targets for all of his units. He hasn't taken any bad engagements yet. He just took them staggered in time. As for the Dwarves, they seem to have forgotten their gyrocopters, so that would be one micro mistake they made. Otherwise, I think they've been playing pretty well. This just happens with the Beastmen. The Chariot rolled right through the front line. The Razorgore herds on the back line. Now you can see their value and why I really like that we took 4 of them. These armor-piercing piggies really, really get their value back versus Dwarves. And currently, Dwarves are up about a little over 2-to-1 on damage value, but I guarantee you it's gonna even up real quick. As Quarrelers get a nice Pit of Shades onto them. Nice double cast there from Bryce Shaman, who's honestly about to die, so he had to get something out. And Torox is getting pretty low himself. This cannon has really given him some guff. Razorgore is piling up on the cannon model itself, trying to attack, but if you can, this is hard with this terrain piece that the Dwarves are using quite well, which is entirely legal, by the way. That's very legal to do. This one isn't near the edge of the map. But anyway, the pigs can't get around, but if you can attack cannon crews, you want to attack them from the back, so you hit the crews, because it's easier to kill people than a giant, tube of steel. One Ogre Raider is tracing off that helicopter. Nice stuff over there. Helicopter could have dodged a lot more, but it does require a ton of micro, so mistakes are made. The blob fight has begun. Dwarves having a hard time finding a place to stop and shoot, so it's all just axes out, in which case the Beastmen will probably win because they have a bunch of armor-piercing pigs, and they're going to do pretty well there. The only problem I could see is taking out Thoric. Maybe you can just spam him with a crap ton of archers? Maybe? Because Torox is too low at this point to do anything about it, but the entire Dwarven backline is dead. Dead. Current win rate versus Cathay is 100%. Where is Coops? Hi is Coops. What is Coops? What up, Kiara? How long is the stream tonight? I was going to go for 2.5 to 3 hours, maybe. Yeah. When it was streamed, would like to see. It was the last vid ODM stream. Okay. We have another one of those runes of burning. And it turns out some of these archers ended up in melee combat, which is a bit of a whoopsie. And they did clump up also, which is a big target for Thoric to hit. The Thane's going to duel Torox. Now, Torox is so low that this Thane may be able to do some good damage and push him off, but in general, this is Torox's cup of tea. He even pops Brass Body for 71 melee stats, almost purely armor-piercing. He is having a great time. The Dwarven backline held longer than any other backline would have, because that's Dwarves for you, but they are slowly but surely losing. The Dwarves are down under half their men. Beastmen are at just about half. Thane's currently getting attacked by the Tuskor Chariots, but a Rune of Doom is popped, and that does cause some more of these archers to rout. And the gyrocopters are back, baby. Alright, Caster's still alive, and he throws out another Pit of Shades. Very nice stuff, and these Minotaurs are going to keep fighting Longbeards in that 100% armor-piercing vortex. Razorgore is still trying to get a little bit of poke in, but Thoric is Thor's a bit of a monster. Torox refreshes the cycle charge, and he actually comes back in after the Rune of Doom wears off. That was nice. That was nice. Get him away while the buff is up. Bring him back in as soon as the buff wears off. He sees some other buff getting cast and decides to just leave, not deal with it. Gyrocopters are focused down Torox. That is the correct target for them. They are just running a little low on ammo. Beastmen are running out of steam. They're running out of steam, and the Dwarves don't have very much left either, but Thoric is huge. He is a huge factor in this. You can see that the Longbeards that are fighting right next to him, and he himself is fresh. Don't know why he got a Perfect Vigor Aura, because that's pretty much what it is. But he did. Actually, it's better than a Perfect Vigor Aura, because Perfect Vigor stops your Vigor from going down. This gives you Vigor back, which why did you buff him? Why did he need the buffs? He was already the best Dwarf Lord. He was the only viable Dwarf Lord. Why did he get buffs? Anyway. I wouldn't rush, so no White Lions, Chariots, no Rangers. Coops is playing campaign, regretting activating every endgame scenario. Do they all happen, Coops? Just shooting at some spears, winning the air fight, and killing the artillery fast. Interesting. Well, Knighthood, I'd love to see it. Fire and rockets could cause issues there. It's an hour and 13 minutes on the last ODM stream. For so long as you probably won't win the air fight, especially with heals or other Cathay magic. Razor grows so much they can be good in a lot of matchups, yeah. So, for the Beastmen, I liked the build. Not a lot of notes on the build front for the Beastmen. Really, really liked it. Their rush, as we talked about at length, just needed to be timed perfectly. I mean, that it sucks to say, but against Dwarves, it's more about making as little mistakes as possible than it is about doing any crazy plays. For the Dwarves, their play was fine. I forgot their gyrocopters for a little bit, and that did cost them a lot of damage value on them. I think the build needed some optimizations. They played just fine aside from that. Good cannon priority. I mean, Torox was down to this low of health-ish before he even got into a fight, so cannons and bolt throwers really whittling him down. Minotaurs hit the front line at about half HP, so yeah. It is tough. And the damage value on that game didn't look close, but if you looked at it, it was honestly just both armies were entirely depleted, and then Thoric was there. You're currently trying to finish off Gorse before a bunch of angry dwarf stacks come to kill me. Boo! Cannons and bolt throwers all paid for themselves. Gyrocopters paid for themselves. Longbeards did fine. Rangers with great weapons struggled a bit to get their value back, but they overall did fine. Minor Blast Charges did well. For Torox's party, Torox and the Minotaur struggled a little bit. Caster did fine. Chariots did great. Razor Pigs overall did well. Goreherd struggled. Harpies did fine. Archers did fine. That is GG. Do I have unit caps on? Yeah, I do. Okay. Cool. We're caught up on chat. We're done with the game. I can check some things. Okay, I'm gonna message the two people who are up next. Okay. Okay. So next on we will have Lebecht and Mr. Overlord. Because I know Lebect is fairly new. Mr. Overlord has played a good amount of campaign, and multiplayer he comes and goes. But he's making his way back into the scene, so we'll see. Yeah. Okay. It's pronounced M. Overlord. My bad. My bad. And if you want to see M. Overlord's beautiful, beautiful face, he does have a YouTube channel, in which case not in which case, I'm just full of dumb tonight. He has a YouTube channel where he hosts our D&D campaign that I'm a part of. He has some fun with that one. It's a good time. We're currently wandering through the forest, and we might have done a stupid. So, hear me out. It says lobby's full. Okay, sorry. We might have done a stupid. So, we were wandering through the woods, and this guy jumps down. He's like, "Hi, I'm here to kill you." And our whole party was like, "Ah." And then he stabbed the shit out of our friend. And then he said, "Never mind, there's like 4 of you and 1 of me. I'm just going to leave." So I'm our healer. I pick up our stabbed friend and I'm like, "Hey, I fixed you. Cool." And then we go to sleep the next night. This may not be 100% accurate, but you get my point. And then we wake up and he's there and he's pissing in our soup. And he's like, "I peed in your soup. Take that, nerd." And he jumps back into the trees. And we're like, "Ah, that's a bit of a problem." And then the next night, he drops the head of like a cougar into our camp. And then he gives us the middle finger. And he jumps off into the night. So that happens over and over again. We know this guy's following us. And then we go into this citadel. It's essentially Kaer Morhen, where the Witchers live, you know, in the Witcher stuff. We go in there. And they say, "Hey guys, good to see you." I'm like, "There's like this guy following us. He's kind of a crazy killer person." And they go, "It's fine. Go to bed. It doesn't matter. He's probably not even following you. It's whatever." And we go, "Okay, whatever you want, guy." And we wake up the next morning and they're like, "So the crazy killer guy came into our fort and he killed a random dude. That's not good." And we said, "We are so sorry we brought him here." And then all the Witchers were like, nah, it's not your fault. I'm sure this would have happened anyway." And I'm like, would it though? Like, would it though? Would it have happened anyway? Or is it the fact that we, who knew we were being followed by an assassin, came into your house and then someone got assassinated? That kind of feels connected. That kind of feels a little bit connected. So now we kind of feel guilty and we want to help them out, even though they're like, "No, it's fine, dude. It's fine. It's just common hospitality to let assassins into your house." I always thought it was M. Overlord. No, it's just Mr. Overlord. What is this? This guy sounds like the coolest guy ever. The assassin? Yeah, he's pretty cool. Alright, no lobby bug, no lobby bug, no lobby bug. So we are just playing with the unit caps on. If any Fruit Rules aficionados see the 7 Sora Spears, though one of them doesn't have a shield, it's unit caps. Who cares? Yes, we made it in the lobby. God, I get so paranoid about that bug. I hate that bug. Lizardmen versus ogres. This is such a cool format. Thank you, Dwayne. It is not mine, and I never will pretend that it is mine. It originated with Murphalurf at twitch.tv. He just doesn't stream as much anymore, and new players need a place to go to learn builds and stuff, so we're taking up a bit of the mantle, but if he ever returns, I will always promote his content, and if he does this content, then I will stop doing this content, because I don't like to steal. Such great narration, I feel like I'm there. I hadn't caught up yet. Coops! Coops! I'm sorry, Coops. That was spoilers. I'm sorry, Coops. I'm not adamant on it, just my experience so far, but air dominance, killing artillery, you can disrupt their ranged. Players so far only had 2 cabin longbows. Okay. All right, so this matchup is relatively new. Any Game 3 and Game 2 interactions are still being worked out. These are matchups that are not completely solved yet, so I am excited to see some things. In general, how this goes is I really like 3's pick of the Saurus Spears. In general, when you are fighting ogres, if your unit has the little anti-large on it, you want that unit. Ogres extremely rely on everything large. Their Noblars are not their carries at all. With that being said, we have a front line of Saurus Spears. They will beat the brakes off of Ogres and Noblars combined, probably. We have Mazdamundi on Zalak. Unfortunately for Mazdamundi, Ruination of Cities and his Bound Banishment are going to be kind of worthless versus the Ogres in general. They're only going to work on Noblars, who we don't care about. So I will say that that's tough. Also, Rolling Skies is unfortunately wasted. The Ogres have literally 0 flying units, and Rolling Skies, if you read it very carefully, it says only affects units if flying. So that is wasted gold there from Mazdamundi. Otherwise, like the build, Saurus Veteran does have anti-large, and yeah, you remember to bring the Plaque of Dominion. Ogres struggle with leadership, and the Saurus Veteran, while being anti-large and armor piercing, both things you want, he has a leadership debuff aura that can pop. Very good. And then a Bastillon with the Revivification Crystal. After the buffs, I really think that this unit is almost necessary in every single matchup. It's so good. Clawstone Hunters or Productive Riders with anti-large are excellent as well, and 1 Teardown with Fire Leech Bowls is also fine. Now this, love the build. No notes on that front. Maybe you cut one of these Saurus and get 2 Skinks with jabs might be worth it, but otherwise it's fine. It's fine. The thing I do have to note is that deploying flying units in the Vanguard like this, you really risk them getting shot by enemy lead belchers or man-eater pistols if they have them, and oh boy do they have them. So if you have the Vanguard potential, remember, is it worth it to start here, or could you fly for a full 3 seconds and get here? But if you spawn here and there is danger, you're kind of fucked. Like, you have to immediately react and get out of the danger, whereas you could have like wasted 3 seconds but flown in now. So those guys are going to get messed up. For the Ogres, we have the Sky Striders, Crushers with great weapons. They have anti-large and armor piercing, incredible stats. Really good unit in the Lizardmen matchup. Love it a lot. Noblars, Ogre Bulls are the front line. Very, very good. Very good stuff. We do have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw. He has Troll Guts and Bone Crusher, both plenty fine spells. More Ogre Bulls. We have 2 Lead Belchers, the Powder Guts, and an Iron Blaster. So it is a ranged focus build, knowing that your opponent could have Temple Guard, could have big dinosaurs, could have Saurus. The Ogres just decided to shoot them to death, which is a pretty safe bet. Also, Lizardmen artillery options are limited and not that range, so you could probably just walk up to them and shoot them. What are the buffs on the Bastillon and Rev Crystal? It heals for a lot more. It heals for a lot more. And that is most of it, but still worth it. Clawstone Hunters are going to dive on the Sky Striders, and the Sky Striders will take that fight. Clawstone Hunters are doing okay, but they're now going to rampage into the Sky Striders and take a lot more damage. Both sides are taking a lot of damage, to be fair, but the Ogres have some support, and the Clawstone Hunters just don't have the they don't have the health pool to take that fight. They're out health like 2-1. Mazdamundi runs up, and he learned the meaning of pain with 2 Lead Belchers and Man-Eater Pistols and an Iron Blaster all shooting him in the face, so he needs to run away. This is a really rough start for Lizardmen. We already lost the Clawstone Hunters. We already lost Mazdamundi in a minute and a half into this game. The Bounds of Power is edging dangerously towards Killer Lion, who is up 10-1 on damage value as the Ogres show you the meaning of firepower. Oof. Yep, Mazdamundi overextending a bit. Flying units overextending a bit, and now the front line is here, but the battle is already over. It would feel like Apotheosis and Revivification Crystal coming in, and we see the Comet hit dead on. The Lead Belchers are mostly fine with it. Now Mazdamundi has healed up a bunch, but we can already see his healing cap 2 minutes into the game. That's how you know things are going poorly. Now the Saurus are doing great. We talked about the Saurus. They're doing excellently. They've already punched through the entire Ogre front line. The entire Ogre front line is gone. Mazdamundi's dead, but if Mazdamundi had stayed back a little bit, like, I mean, mistakes happen, right? But if Mazdamundi had stayed back a little bit, look at how well the Saurus are doing. Just like, look at him. If Mazdamundi was back here right now, out of range, and now he starts walking up, as these Sky Striders jump in, you can maybe net them down, maybe use some spells on them. You start running at the Lead Belchers and the Iron Blaster, and they have to run away instead of shooting Mazdamundi. I think 3's build was fine. They just needed to be really patient. They need to be patient. Let the angry crocodiles with the sticks get up there. Yeah. Let the angry crocodiles with the sticks get up in there, do most of the work, and then have the big dinosaurs follow, because the Saurus with spears are really doing excellently. But there's just, it's like too much has been lost that they can't carry it at this point. Oof. I like to steal. What up, trader? I like kiting Lizardmen as over kingdoms. What are the buffs in the Bastildon? Okay, I did answer that last one. Yeah. I do think it's GG. Not having a Lord and a caster is brutal. Revive Crystal. Oh, another thing to note, if you use the Revivification Crystal, remember that it can't heal itself. It can only heal other stuff. Just an FYI. I remember when I learned that, I lost an entire game because I didn't know they couldn't heal themselves. So I took one, and then my opponent just shot it. I think I was fighting Dark Elves. It was a long time ago. But yeah, I was fighting Dark Elves, so they just pointed all their repeater crossbows at him, killed him, and I couldn't heal him, and then I died. Rip. Man, that army losses has just been teetering. Human stills ignores me. I said do this format too, and Logic does it that way. I thought I heard you. Saurus carry? I mean, they can carry, just not without support. But look at them, they did so well. They did so well. I love these guys. Saurus spears are chads. The Saurus buffs were so nice. Primal Instinct's getting a massive buff. And I think Saurus units in general got some buffs, but yeah. Killer Lion, good build, good play. The only thing I would say is back off. Maybe he got a little lazy because he already thought he won the game with that significant advantage, but when the Saurus break through the front line, you got to start kiting, where it felt like he kind of stood his ground and just shot them as they came, and then his lead belchers got a little caught and his powder guts got a little caught. So maybe do a little bit of kiting for the next time that you don't have such a significant advantage, but good army comp, great play, no real notes. For 3, good army comp, just a little bit impatient. Just a little bit impatient, because his Clawston Hunters could take the fight versus the Crushers after the Crushers dive in onto Saurus Spears. So then you get a rear charge on them, and now they're stuck between anti-large infantry and anti-large giant pterodactyls. But they took the fight before anything else was there, so a little impatient. They put the flyers in the vanguard, so they got shot for free, a little bit impatient. Mazdamuni ran up without the rest of the Saurus, a little bit impatient, so it's like 3 only really made one mistake. They just made it, multiple times. But it's like, you fix that one mistake, you just play more patiently, and then that matchup will go a lot better for you. So it's not like, oh man, you had so many mistakes. It's like, nah, you just did one thing. Like, just don't do that one thing, you'll be fine. GG, first time playing ogres aside from that one vampire embarrassment. I didn't realize ogres basically had artillery ranged infantry. Yeah, they're pretty good. GG, well played to both of you. I'm not going to kick you because I don't like you, but I am going to kick you because I got to get the other 2 people into this lobby. We'll have LeBaked versus Mr. Overlord. Could you try out only Saurus warrior type units and their mount or mount types? That's actually not a terrible build. If you want, or just one, if you don't have time. Yeah, you can play up to 2, but if you want to, you can just play 1. That's also fine. It's just like, you get a second round to think about what was said during game 1, too. Mr. Overlord, yeah. Is becoming the running trend. Yeah. You played well, 3. You won the first game. You won the first game. Okay. We have our friend, Amber Overlord. GG, Mr. Casual. Hovey, what up, dude? What up, Mr. Casual? There. I got the map. I was having a hard time finding a map. I don't know if I've gotten the pleasure of seeing LeBaked play. Maybe once. Maybe. The sheer girth of Thoric Ironbrow. He's insane. He is insane. Your whole formation had perfect vigor the whole fight. That's insane. Yeah, Thoric's real good. What up? Mr. Casual, I hope you've been well. I hope you've been enjoying Norska now that they're OP. Oh no. We have people who are needing to sleep. Okay. Well, shit. Well, shit. Uh-oh. I gotta do some thinking. Can I change spots to someone if I don't mind a bit earlier? Yeah. Let me think. Okay. So we're just working out some scheduling stuff while these people build their armies. I have a blocker up, right? Not that matters. If you're cheating on a for fun learning stream, then that's on you. Why is everybody so late? Okay. So we have two people who need to go to bed soon next. And we might have Kiara and Nevermore, but we'll see. We'll do what we can. If people have to go to bed, we try to host these at least once a week. So if not this time, we'll get you next time for sure. Me and Killer had fun though, so that's all that matters. True. Fat Kid, a reset ogre baby? Yeah, M. Roverlord, as you all like to call him, pretty much loves any faction that can flex. Beastmen, Ogre Kingdoms, Lizardmen. He's pretty excited about Chaos Dwarves from what I understand. He likes muscle-bound Giga Chads. Is about it. Do you know any good Norska builds? Can't seem to make them work. Otherwise, I've been going good. Norska is fun. Ogre builds. Honestly, if you rewind that Killer Lion build is pretty solid in a lot of matchups. Double Lead Belcher can clear out a lot of armored infantry, so it's good into like Khorne or Chaos. Lizardmen, as we clearly saw. The RR Crushers have been really good recently for people. Man-Eater Pistol RORs in general, just great. The Iron Blaster, take it or leave it. If you keep it in there, you're going to need to adopt a more kite play style when your front line gets overwhelmed, because that is a lot of money in your ranged assets. But if you don't have the Iron Blaster, you can have a bit thicker of a front line, then you won't have to run as quickly. Yeah. So it's kind of here nor there. But yeah, that build in general was really solid, so definitely take that. That it was so bad also because I forgot about Torogs. True. You're late, not us. Yeah, I'll do the next one in the European time zone. The Europeans this week got a tournament. The North American players got this lobby. So don't shame us for getting some content once in a while. Trader spitting out another good ogre thing. When are we getting the land battle only option, Mr. Casual? We have a land battle only option on my Discord, bro. We have our land battle only option. Okay. I need to pitch a thing. I pitched this at the start of the stream, but some of you may not have been here real quick. If you want your quote-unquote land battle stuff, you can go to the Give Eshin roll, and I will give you Eshin Initiate. That'll allow you to go into the Eshin chat and just ping anybody at Eshin Initiate. I'm not actually going to hit it because I don't want to annoy them for no reason. But those are people who are newer and also like to play a couple games. If you really want to, you can find domination games that way, but I think most of the people here are trying to learn land battles, so there's that. If you're looking for newer players and sick of quick battles, that could be for you. Or just keep waiting for the ranked option to not have domination. I don't know. Man. I just work here. And we're getting in. Cross your fingers. No crash. Cross them. Cross them. I see you not crossing them. Well, if it crashes, it's on you. Ogre Kite with leads and pistols is the only viable way to play them. EU time is even worse for me as it is too soon. Too soon, really? Oh. Boo! You didn't cross your fingers! You didn't cross your fingers! I told you! God damn it. Nobody listens to me. Nobody. Why doesn't anybody listen? That is a known bug. We're sorry about that. We'll get the 2 players back in. They should use the same build, so it shouldn't take very long at all to build them back up. But it is sad. What we could do... I might do that for the next one. I might have the 2 people who are next. I might have the 2 people who are next make a lobby, and then I'll join them, because if I'm the spectator, it doesn't bug. But if you host the lobby as a spectator, it can bug, which is pretty lame. So I think I will do that next time. I'll message who it is in game 2 so they don't sit in a lobby for too long just waiting on us, but that would be smart. GG lobby played well. Didn't see it as a thing today, or would have signed up. Osric. As an Eshin Initiate, can I kill my boss? Sure. Who is a good defensive faction to learn, Hubmaster? I really like Vampire Coast right now because they're also quite capable of rushing if you feel like it. So you can play them defensively, which is fine, but if you ever get bored of playing them defensively, or you get into a matchup where someone counters you, you can flip it on them and rush. So I think Vampire Coast is a good faction to learn right now. Skaven's also fine, but Skaven is still a little predictable. Whereas Vampire Coast is a little bit more of that. Dodgy. Grankthay and Dwarves are easy to learn defensive. Yeah. GG played well. Alright. We will find Mr. Overlord somewhere. Can usually only play after 9 p.m. unless it's Saturday or Sunday, but that's on you. I'm sorry. Nevermore. Oh, wait, I shouldn't ready up. Can you rush more than 50% of the time with VP? If you can, I'm on board. In my opinion, yes. Some people disagreed with that when I was talking about it, but yeah. Because they got, Nevermore, if you aren't super up to date on all the changes from Game 2 into Game 3, they can do everything from Game 2 just as well as they could. But then, Depth Guard got buffs, Syrene's got buffs, Celostra got pretty big buffs, the Lore of Deeps that Celostra has got pretty big buffs, which is a better rush lore than Lore of Vampires. Undead in general got buffs in their leadership, so your dogs don't crumble as fast. Animated Hulks got huge buffs, which is both an offensive and defensive buff. Morngulls still kind of suck. But yeah. So a lot of offensive buffs that have really helped. So I have been enjoying the crap out of Vampire Coast rushing. I think it's very fun. Another thing you can kind of do is soft rush, which is like get 2 cannons or 2 mortars or something and leave like 1 zombie with each of them, and then the rest of your army rush. And it's like, okay, if they use their cav to go stop the mortars, 1, it'll take a long time because it takes forever to get through the zombies and get to the mortars of the cannons. And 2, then that cav isn't charging your backline and you can completely eat them. And then like what happens is, they have 2 silver helms sitting there like, hey guys, we did it. We killed the mortars and these zombies. And then they look over and the entire high elf army is dead. And it's just a bunch of undead waving back at them like, good job. Now you have to deal with like all of us. So I don't know. I've been having so much fun. What's the best faction and why is every answer Grandpappy Nurgle? Ooh, he is. Ooh, yep, he's the best. He is in fact the best. No question there. Kiara complimenting Loopy's mod. Chaff and Empire are not a defense. Wait, and what? Kislev and Empire are not a defensive faction? They can be. They're versatile factions. They can be played as aggressive or defensive. They're fine. I was just saying I've really been enjoying Coast, so there's a lot of great options. More like ranged factions than defensive? Yeah, could be. But Empire Cav Rush is plenty viable. Celostra Sirens Rush? Hell yeah. Seems like fun. Yeah, dude. So Nevermore, the biggest thing about Celostra is her Cav summon is 100% armor piercing because it's ethereal. It's 100% armor piercing. So that's kind of a big deal. You can just run up and drop it on some archers and they don't know what hit them. And if the enemy cav comes to bail out the archers, they don't know what hit them either. It's really great. I've been having a ton of fun. Hearts of Iron 4 mod. Gonna leave the stream for a few, but otherwise lurking. Good luck to all future players and have fun. Thanks, Iano. You have a good night. Or I guess for you, it's probably morning. They are the best Dwarves by Overwatch Marvin. Yeah, Chaos Dwarves are gonna be fun. I do hope that they do Chaos Dwarves well, and they don't kind of make them like. I've been having a ton of fun with Immortal Empires, but I'm having a ton of fun with Immortal Empires because of the Game 2 and 1 factions. I'm not having fun with it because of the Game 3 factions. And I really hope that the Chaos Dwarves are going to be like the first Game 3 faction that I think is well designed. Because the other ones have pretty fundamental issues as far as fun goes. And like, if you disagree with that, I point back to pre-Immortal Empires land battles were a travesty. Like, just awful. Cathay is unbreakable because of their harmony, and they're heavily incentivized to box. Kislev, literally every freaking unit besides the Snow Leopard is unbreakable for a while, making rushing them pretty annoying, and they had some pretty cancerous blobs with the bears and the healing and shit. So for some reason, the unbreakable faction was healing. Khorne's design was just atrocious, and before they got the Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes, every matchup for them, if a blob was possible, a blob was coming against them, and they couldn't beat it. Tzeentch was honestly fine. Like, that might sound silly to say, but in pre-Warhammer 3, Tzeentch was one of the least scummy factions to play against. Slaanesh either would destroy you or lose instantly, and it was all about how hard you could blob. You're going to see a theme there. And Nurgle could win if he could blob on you. If he couldn't blob on you, if you could shoot his blob, he would lose. So, like, the Warhammer 3 faction design has not been stellar, and I'm very concerned about the Chaos Dwarves, but theoretically they should be fun. What do you mean, Grand Cathay's a fun fight? I agree. All right. Mr. Overlord versus LeBaked. We have Lizardmen versus ogres. So we just saw this, but it looks like we're taking a very different tact on it. Temple Guard, I think I saw 3 of them. Maybe just 2 now. Temple Guard, Saurus Warriors with spears, a couple skink cohorts in the front for chaff. We have a solar engine and revivification crystal, and then we have a Slan of Life with Brothers Below and Earthblood to try and heal up some of these things. We also have 1 Golden Spear Rider. Overall, anti-large, armor-piercing units, very good. I don't know about the solar engine. I just don't know. I'm kind of a hater on this unit in general, but a lot of Lizardman players do like it. So I'll reserve my judgment and say it's fine for forcing them forward. Kinda. I just feel like it's going to get outshot, but maybe I'm just a piece of shit. 5.5 factions were straight unbreakable. Yeah. What up, Tian? Kiara, you'll main Chaos Dwarves too? Yeah. On the other side for Mr. Overlord, we have 5 Noblars, Iron Guts, Iron Guts, Iron Guts, Iron Guts. So some heavy armor to try and counter the anti-large of the Saurus, because the Saurus don't have armor piercing, they just have anti-large, so maybe 90 armor can help you out. It's a decent thought. We have a Hunter on a Stonehorn and another Stonehorn to just cycle charge through the infantry over and over and over again. Also pretty good. Triple Sabertusk packs. We do have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw with Bone Crusher and Troll Guts. It's also quite good. The Sabertusk packs are nice if you're going to get kited. With this immediate army, I struggle to see what they're going to do. The Sabertusk packs are just going to run into Saurus and die, most likely. So they should probably be held in reserve, either only to get flank attacks on a unit that's otherwise engaged, or to chase off something that routes and make sure it never comes back. Otherwise, if they just sprint to their death, then they're going to be a little useless. The Stonehorns are going to have to be very effectively microed, like in and out, in and out, in and out. They don't really want to sit in a fight. The one thing that is nice is there's nothing here that really does great against the Stonehorns, unless you sit completely still in Cold and Spear Riders or the Temple Guard. But if you charge through the Cold and Spear Riders and the Temple Guard, these Stonehorns are going to get a ton of work done. So I really think the Ogres have a solid shot in this. Iron Guts should probably be fighting inside of their skink cohorts to get the little chaffy chaff to defend them from the pokey poke sticks. But it looks like we're going a bit rogue these days. I wouldn't hate for a rear charge or something here. But there's nothing to be done in this back line. There's no way you're going to surround a Bastilled Soul Engine and get enough damage done with elite Halberd Temple Guard coming after you. So you can see Mr. Overlord is thinking about actually just bailing out of here and not dealing with it whatsoever. Stonehorns are on the flank, and already we have some skink cohorts routing from the Iron Guts. It looks like the Iron Guts wanted to chase them to get some of that ogre army passive going, but they're not going to quite be able to do it just yet. And you can see that these Iron Guts are trading quite well against the Saurus Warriors. In the previous game, we saw the Saurus Warriors bust through the front line, and now it looks like the Ogres actually have a standing shot. But you can see how poorly an Iron Gut with no support is doing. They do need their little Noblar friends to eat some of those extra shots for them while they figure out their shit. Damage values are quite even. Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw is going to throw out a quick Bone Crusher, and it's going to hit triple units. Now, this is too clumped up for the Lizardmen. They're not going to get any more effective damage out piling this many units on each other. You just make yourself a target for spells, so try not to have more than 2 units in any place at a time, but it is an easy mistake to make. Stonehorn's fighting a bunch of Saurus Spears, but he can path out of here if he ever gets orders. Where are those Sabertusks? Sabertusks and a Stonehorn all going back to fight the Bastillodons, and a Banishment does go through, doing a little bit of damage, but you can see it wasn't honestly that much overall. And the Stonehorn's fine here. He has armor piercing. Sabertusks maybe could be more useful fighting the Saurus, but we did say at the very start that there's really not a great target for them overall. Balance of power is still relatively even. Damage value is still relatively even, and this is going infinitely better than for the Ogres. Iron Guts are doing all right. They're pulling their weight. All right, we're proud of them. Big attempt on a pick here. Double Stonehorns are fighting this line. You see they're actually doing a lot of damage. This is too many Sabertusk packs all chasing one thing. I think double Stonehorn in one Sabertusk pack is fine, and have the other Sabertusks chase off these skinks that are running around. Rear charge some of these Saurus, maybe. They just have other things they could be doing, so it's a little bit too much of a blob at the moment, but otherwise the Ogres are doing quite well. And the attempt on Lord Snipe is important. This is a large portion of their healing. They do have a Revivification Crystal, but it's not nearly the same as a Salon can punch out. And you can see the Stonehorns are just doing excellent work, even into Halberds. This is why the Cathay matchup used to feel pretty bad. I don't want to say unwinnable, but pretty bad before the Stonehorn nerfs. Is the whole army was just this. And another nice Bone Crusher cast. But their whole army was just this. 2 Stonehorns running infinitely through anti-large and armor-piercing spears. And they didn't have any effective mass to stop it. Now, the Lizards do have effective mass. They have 1. They have 1 unit of effective mass. So if they wanted to stop this, they would need, like... I'm not saying this is ideal, but you would need, like, a Carnosaur or Stegodons or something of your own. But currently the Stonehorns are running unimpeded. And I really do like this. I haven't seen Stonehorns in this matchup, and after seeing it, I'm really, like, processing what would damage it. I think the most effective thing versus it would be... Ooh, the Salon is dead. That is huge. Nice job there from Mr. Overlord and the Hunter. But I think Feral Cold Ones would be really nice. They're only 450 gold. They're armor piercing. They aren't anti-large, but they're armor piercing. And they would definitely get their value back on the Stonehorns. They wouldn't beat the Stonehorns, but a Stonehorn costs as much as, like, 4 Feral Cold Ones. So, yeah. Final notes, final thoughts would be for the red player. Well played. Liked the build a lot. It was innovative. It wasn't what I would have first thought of, but after really piecing it out through the whole game, I did like the build. It worked out. Maybe some minor adjustments you could do, but overall I did like it. I think the Sabertusk play could use a little bit of work, and at some points with the Sabertusks again, just throwing too many of them at the same target could be an issue. For the blue player, I liked the build. I didn't really love the Bastion with the solar engine, but I am, in fact, biased against this unit. I generally just don't like it. That said, LeBlake, just a little bit too much blobbing. Too many infantry all on the same conflict, either blobbing them up for spells or just covering less space, which the ogres did use to their advantage. I also think the Temple Guard are maybe a little too expensive, because they're spendy lads, and we could just see that, like, the ogres in general, while ogre infantry suffers from a lot of problems, one thing it doesn't suffer from is speed, and we could see that the Temple Guard were just wandering around trying to find a fight. Like, they just couldn't pick one. They went back to try and save the Salon, but they got there too late, and the Stonehorns just walked away from them. And then they ran up to fight this front line, and the Stonehorns just walked away from them. And now that they're finally here, they're getting cycle charged and hit with spells. Like, I think the Temple Guard were a neat concept, but too expensive and too slow, unfortunately. Sora Spear is actually still doing the work of the gods out here. Ooh, Slaughtermaster Beast is caught up, but yeah. I think that's going to be GG. GG. I wouldn't even use their cav, really. It's useless. Just disappear when you get stuck for once too long. It's not the Lord's Stun Armor, High Prowess Roster. Demons of Chaos is underrated. Oh, I hate the Demons of Chaos. I like the Solar Engine to shoot against cav and sometimes archers. Oh, yeah, but the ogres don't have that. Yeah, I mean, I don't like them in general, but I think in this matchup, like, I'm struggling to see what they're going to do, because they're not really a high damage piece. Always out, no babies needed. I agree with the Solar Engine. I think it sucks for this thing down, to be honest. Sorry, I'm just reading chat for a bit. This is army losses is even hitting. It's almost like people don't like playing against toxic stuff. It's amazing. Do you need chaos versus mine then? When warriors of chaos, honestly, it's not fun. Not armor. Plenty of factions and they do fine. They aren't good. Expensive lords, that is. Temple Guard got okay value. Sora Spears got good value. Skink Cohorts got murdered. Ooh, actually, yeah, that is a good point. Don't bring Skink Cohorts here. Don't do that. I didn't realize it in the game, but looking in the post screen, that's a big mistake. Ogres benefit from routing units. They can get their army passive. Saurus never route. Skinks do. We can see the Skinks died, like, instantly, and they charge the Ogre passive. Ooh, yeah, that... It's not, like... With the game 3 army passives, like Khorne, that's why he also got so many blobs, is because kills charge his army passive. So he got a lot of blobs because you don't want to give him kills. Same thing with the Ogres. You don't want anything that can route. So Chaff is heavily disincentivized versus Ogres. Oof, yeah. So cut the Skinks. Probably cut the Temple Guard. Get some Feral Cold Ones. Maybe some Skink Cohorts with Javelins, because then, yeah, they'll route eventually, but they will get their pointy sticks out, and they'll be pretty good. A little baked. For Mr. Overlord, solid build. Iron Guts did way better than I kind of expected them to, so they did fine. They did fine. Cats did fine. Noblars died for the great cause, but it was mostly Stonehorns carrying. Okay. Let's do Peasants something. Peasants Pasture, that one. And then I'll message the next two people who are up to get a lobby so that we don't have the bug again. Go away with your Bellacore nerfs. Demon's Chaos isn't even ranked anymore. Red Ungor greater than Bellacore. I like Solar Engines, but I wouldn't take it first. Ogres true. Reversing. Alright, chat's popping off. I can't possibly answer all those, but you guys are just talking about Demons of Chaos. Buffs and nerfs. Horned ones might be decent here. I think the Cold One Spear Riders do fine. They get the anti-large bonus that Horned ones don't. I don't think Horned ones get anti-large. I have a block rep, right? Yeah. We've all seen my Fry Drinks That 100th Cup. That was a good episode, dude. Futurama was such a good show. Okay, so I have to get that person, don't I? Stony and Yo, can you get a lobby up with the map Pillar of Bone and unit caps on? There we go. So we'll have our next two players, Stony Strikes and Yowundoax de la Fête. And we will join them after this game. Sliding in like Call of Duty. Damn, hubby sliding into those DMs. I am. Okay. How are we doing on this list thing? Players are just building some stuff behind the scenes. Alright, so edit message. We did kill a lion in 3. We did Mr. Overlord. And Lebict. Then we're gonna do Stony. Okay. So still a good amount of people. Any tips for Hexwaddle, Spider-Man? Are you talking about in campaign or in multiplayer? Because those are very different tips, Spider-Man. Happy to answer either, just need to know what we're doing. Any tips on how to win tournaments? When you have the option of winning a game or losing a game, win a game. Win a game is usually the better way to go. It's a bold strategy, but normally winning. Aside from that, I mean, like, actual things on how to win a tournament. You want to know probably 5 factions quite well. Because you need to be able to get through a best of 3 if something you want is banned. And you'll probably want to know multiple playstyles. whether it's kite and defensive, whether it's defensive and rush, whether it's defensive and kite, you'll need to know multiple ways of playing an army in general. Yeah, because it is really hard to one-trick your way through a tournament. Like, it is just obscenely hard. Campaign, Spider-Man? Okay. So Hexwaddle, personally, when I played that campaign, I went south. I focused most of my efforts south. There's a lot of Lizardmen down there. You can confederate. You can clean out the skaven filth. Because what happens is if you go north, you're fighting enemies. Right? If you go south, you might be saving some friends or fighting enemies. But if you go north first, you are guaranteed fighting enemies. And if you don't go south, the skaven will almost always take over. And then your south is going to almost always be enemies. Or if you go south first, you can save some of your friends, not fight as many people. And then the north, no matter what, is going to be fucked. Whether you go up there first or whether you go up there second, it's just going to be bad guys. Like, you have no friends to the north, ever. So it's, in my opinion, it's more important to go south early game and get some confederations going with the Lizardmen down there. Rather than having two bad flanks, you can have just one. So I would do that. Also, you don't want to let those greenskins, is it the blue snake tribe or something that's south of you? You don't want to let them get a wall off. They're really annoying if they don't quash them quick. Because greenskins are just super annoying. I heard if you score more points than the other guy, you usually win. It's a rumor, haven't checked, yeah. How to win a tourney, don't have a skill issue. Got him. Fucking got him. Alright, our next people are setting up a lobby. So we'll get into that. Nurgle versus Skaven. When the game first came out, I really thought this was extremely Skaven favored, and then I had some talks with some of the ODM lads, and they aren't so sure. I still think it is slightly Skaven favored, but I am more leaning on it being even than straight up favored. I think Kugoth is always a mistake in this matchup. He's just so easy to shoot. I think Festus or a Herald is the better way to go. Smaller target, less easy to shoot, and then your army can also go wider. And Skaven are much more scared of wide armies than they are single targets, because Skaven are incredible at killing one thing. They're incredible at killing one thing. 5 factions, 3 of them very good. Know your matchups, what you're doing. Yeah. Make 2 of those VCs in Grand Cathay. Yeah, got them. Alright, for Lebaked, we have Warp Fire Throwers. They are magic damage and fire damage, both of which is good against Nurgle, and Nurgle doesn't have great archer options to really shut them down. So Warp Fire Throwers can actually do okay work here. Jezzails are a great pick. Double Warp Lightning Cannon is also a really good pick. That's a shitload of range, so the rest of this army is going to be thin. We have Clan Rats, Clan Rats, Clan Rats, Clan Rats. That's actually for Skaven an elite frontline. How did you get all this money? Oh, it's a Foot Gracier. Okay, that would work. Foot Gracier with Dreaded 13's Cracks Call, Howling Warp Gale, and Warp Lightning. That's a lot of Winds of Magic. Maybe cut one of those spells. Probably Cracks Call, but if you really want it, cut the Dreaded 13th. But these are 2 expensive spells that you're maybe going to get cast one of the 2. Then you have 2 cheap spells, which is much more reasonable. You could cast both of them. And you might not even use Howling Warp Gale if there's no flying units. That's kind of a coincidental, not a coincidental, you need the incident to occur to get it to work. So you might not get that one, but still, I think Cracks Call and Dreaded 13th is too much Winds of Magic. 2 Rat Ogres is good. Stormfirm with Halberds. I don't think they're worth it in this matchup. Stream of Corruption's pretty good against them. Festus might have a more Dissension effect going on. There might be Soul Grinders with the Pew Pew Cannons. So either way, I think Halberds aren't really going to get their value. Probably cut them, get more Rat Ogres, cut one of the ranged pieces, because there's a lot of them, and get some Skaven Sage or something, because this build's looking a little thin. I'm a little worried about it. On the other side, we have a Spirit Leech Caster, excellent. Doom and Darkness, excellent as well. I really like the Lord choice here from Nurgle. Don't try to out-heal the Skaven damage. They have some of the highest DPS in the game. Instead, just route them quicker and snipe their Lord. I really, really, really like that. Nurglings and Toads advance. I think the Toads are a shit unit. I hate them, but I know Mr. Overlord actually doesn't have the new Champions of Chaos DLC, so I forget what units he does and doesn't have. If he had dogs, I would prefer them, but I don't know if you get those without the DLC. Nurglings are advancing. In the far side, we have Forsaken. They are great. Take them over Plague Bears in this matchup every time. Plague Bears hold, Forsaken kill, and you need to kill the Skaven. You don't need to hold the Skaven, so great choice there. Cultist of Nurgle. Ooh, okay. That is a whoops, in my opinion. There was a change to the Gates of Nurgle. The summons only start recharging if your hit points are less than 75%. So these guys, these Cultists of Nurgle, their tankiness actually hurts them for once, and they will almost never, never, never get off that summon. Unfortunate there. Double Beast of Nurgle versus Skaven is fine. They cause terror, don't they? Yeah, just fear. Well, okay, if they're not terror causing, that's a little less fine. But big single entities in general can muck up Skaven. The problem is you don't want them to sit on the front line like this. You need them to push through. Through. Push, push, push. So we saw some frogs get around. Nice job. Nice job there. I thought there was another frog, but it honestly might already be dead. So everything's got to keep pushing, got to keep moving, and this Herald of Nurgle also has to come up and get some Doom and Darknesses off or some Spirit Leech or such. Skaven front line is starting to falter. It's just not faltering fast enough for the Plague Toads. You can see these poor guys are squishier than a stress ball. DLC issue? Could be. I mean, if the dogs are DLC linked, then 100% a DLC issue. If he has the dogs, I don't know if they're a DLC link or not. If he has the dogs, just didn't use them, then it's a mistake. Because Plague Toads are ass. Like, they are just terrible. But before we had dogs, Plague Toads were like the only ground mobility Nurgle had, so you just had to use them, right? Anyway. So I think some build issues on the Nurgle side. The play is going pretty well. He's pushing through the front line just fine. He had a good flank coming in from some Forsaken. You can see his single entity, well, at least one of them, his Cultist and his Herald of Nurgle, are running into the back line like they should. Not supporting the front line fight. They don't need it. They just need to stop stuff from shooting. So I really like the play. I think the Nurgle build has some issues that I've already clearly lined out. Skaven build is fine. I think it's slightly suboptimal, but it is fine. And so far the play has been okay, but again, we're seeing that Temple Guard issue from before. We have two elite Stormvermin with halberds both walking to the same places. They need to split up. They need to both go to a different area and hold it really well, rather than walking together to one place and holding it, I guess, fantastically, but the rest of your army's going to fall apart. Spirit Leech onto the Grace here when he's not on his bell is an excellent choice. He will take a ton of damage. I can get the dogs for free, Pog. Okay, then if the dogs are free LC, which I'm hearing, then that is a mistake. Dogs are way better than the Toads. Clan Rat Elite Frontline, Stormvermins be like Mimi. Yeah, Clan Rats are for Skaven an Elite Frontline. Herald of Nurgle is trying to stop the Warp Lightning Cannons, but he's doing single entity things to them where he just like sits on top of them and can't do anything. Skaven are ahead on the balance power. Skaven are ahead on the damage value, but this is the tricky part. This is every Skaven game. You get ahead, but do you get ahead by enough? Now all the ranged units are running, not getting any value, which they have to. You know, if they stop, they'll just die. And Warp Lightning Cannons are trying to kill off the Beast of Nurgle, honestly getting a lot of damage down on them. Wow. Doing tons. That is pretty great. Infantry of Nurgle are pushing through in general, but the Toads are almost all dead, if not all dead. Yeah, they're all dead. No more Toads. They're trash. They're such trash, dude. They're not even tanky. I don't think my neighbors need there. Good. Good, just go steal their dogs. Herald of Nurgle is diving into the back line. He's keeping 3 different weapons teams all preoccupied, but he is getting shot in the back for his efforts. I don't know if it'll be enough. Stormvermin with halberds get dunked on anyway. And these cultists, man, they can't get their summon. They can't get their summon. They're too healthy. This Warp Lightning Cannon's so close to breaking. The other one's just fine. Both Beasts of Nurgle have taken a lot of damage. Herald of Nurgle is taking a good amount of damage as well, and now especially because there's a dreaded 13th summon on top of him. And Nurgle is getting clumped up a bit. Their Nurglings are fading. Their Nurglings are fading! He's getting tickled on the bum. Alright, fly away, sweet Herald. Fly away. Massive break from the Skaven on the far side. They now have some Stormvermin who are not a summon, and Clan Rats trying to repair the damage, but they're behind their enemy and the ranged assets, so they will have a harder time stopping them. This Stormvermin is going away in 30 seconds, so if these Forsaken can just hold on, they will be fine. but it is mostly down to a single entity squad for Nurgle, which if these Giselles can get away from the single entity blob and fire inwards, they will be just fine. There's a warp lightning cannon, just point blank firing at this beast of Nurgle. I think that is gonna be that. Alright. Ever Chicken is out for the day. Rip in peace, Ever Chicken. Balance of power is shifting a little bit around Nurgle, but you can see Nurgle's down about 2 to 1 on damage value. We do have double cultist, and a beast is pretty much all of their staying power left. And a Spirit Leech Kiter, which I think Spirit Leech has done all the damage to that Greyseer, and he's already half HP, so yeah. If he's not on his bell, Spirit Leech is quite effective versus a Greyseer. And I think it might be the Gist of G's. 4 Rat Ogres is meta ever since they got a massive boof. Yeah, boofs are good. I really hope we don't end up just playing the Can 2 cultists kill an entire Skaven army game, because that's not a fun game to play. It's not a fun game to play. If they lose, it's going to take a while, and if they win, you're going to wish they hadn't won. That's not a thing you want to win. Dude, these guys have charged like 0 of their summon, by the way. 0. -2 of their summon has been charged. Because they've just been full health this whole time. That's such like, it's such bad synergy to have like a, this ability only charges if I'm low on health. Also, fuck you, I'm never getting low on health. I have higher melee defense and I have regen. Oh my god, he's doing it. Oh my god, he's doing it! All the ranged assets are leaving! The Greyseer is running after a nasty Spirit Leech and Forsaken are chasing him down. Oh my god, he's doing it! He's coming back! Oh no! The double cultists are too strong! And by that I also mean a massive Forsaken rally that came in through the back line and completely murdered a whole bunch of Giselles and stuff was also kind of clutch. But you know what it is. Look at the beasts of Nurgle just sliming around. Just sliming. Nurgle Chaos Spawn. Okay, well, it got retracted. I mean, good job, Mr. Overlord, for winning. Proud of you. I am shocked. It was going so well, and this game was just like, nah, and died. Oh, that's too funny. Alright. Nurgle spawn can't ever generate, but the cultist can. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Honestly, if there's Winds of Magic for a Doom and Darkness right now, that would end the game. Though the game is already looking ended. Rats. It was a close game. The Skaven leadership is a hell of a drug. God, that Beast of Nurgle is actually going to heal cap. But as soon, I mean, the Warp Lightning Cannon is the only thing that's not broken right now. So as soon as it breaks, it's over. Wow! Warp Lightning Cannons did fine. Storm from Halberds did honestly okay. Giselles struggled a little bit. Warp Fire Throwers did pretty well. The Kleiner front line did okay. Rat Ogres got murked. But it was mostly the Lord Snipe, because then their leadership failed. You saw a lot of stuff routing off with like full health bars. Forsaken getting incredible value. Beasts of Nurgle and Frogs doing literally nothing, but the Forsaken were like solo carrying. Nurglings also did fine. So maybe Poison Globes over the Warp Fire Throwers next time. Le Bict. It was a good game, my friend. It was a good game. All right, I have another lobby to get to. Where is that thing? Okay. Join with code, this one. 7777, spectate. 123. And we're in. What up, dude? We have Wood Elves in the Empire on Pillar Bone. Okay. Depending on who you ask, they'll have different opinions, but this can be considered an even matchup by some people. But this is one of the matchups that wildly varies on how you feel about it. In general, Empire Heavy Cav is a little hard to stop for the Wood Elves without Great Stag Knights. The Great Stag Knights could be susceptible to Archer Fire Cannons or magic. So it's risky. Triple Waywatcher can deal with some heavy cav of the Empire if you can't get out of them. There's a lot of metrics going on in this matchup. It is interesting. Now I will wonder how they'll handle it on Pillar of Bone, which is a relatively small, I'd say it's small medium size map. Skaven Chieftain may become meta to hold the leadership, maybe. Maybe. Nurgle still struggles versus large, right? Yeah, I guess. But Skaven don't have any large that Nurgle's particularly concerned about. On the side of the Wood Elves, oh god. This is a lot to look at. It looks like we have a whole bunch of Eternal Guards with shields and then some Dryads. It's pretty good. Great Stag Knights and Glade Riders with Spears. We are not surprised to see the Great Staggies here. Spellsinger of Life with just Dwellers below, no Earthblood. Triple Deepwood Scout. Not the Swift Shiver Shards one either. Then we have the Sisters of Twilight! Up on the dragon. Okay. I need to think about that. I'm not the best Wood Elf player, so I'm not just like off the cuff. Here you go. 1 unit, Blazing Sun. Yeah, Blazing Sun's really good in this matchup. On the other side, we have 4 Empire Knights, like that a lot. We have Spearmen and Swordsmen as a front line. We have the Silver Bullets, Halberdiers, a Hellstorm Rocket Battery, double War Wagon, Karl Franz, and a Jade Wizard with Regrowth, Earthblood, and Dwellers. Okay. Thoughts of the Wood Elf build? I like it a lot. I think it's solid. I don't know about the Deepwood Scouts, but that I mean that as I say that. I don't know. It's not that I doubt them. I just literally don't know how they perform in this matchup at all. I never see them. So I would assume that there is some reason that good Wood Elf players don't bring them, but I don't know what that is. Could be that they don't have armor piercing, so they bring the Waywatchers for armor piercing, or they bring Starfire Shafts for non-stocked, non-360, but armor piercing. So you aren't going to shoot the cav very well with them. But that's like the only thing I have. Otherwise, the build's fine. Dryads will do well. Eternal Guards will do well. We saw one Great Stag Knight to countercharge heavy cav. Maybe not the Sisters on the Dragon. On their Eagle, they're generally considered better, but maybe just really wanted a Dragon. I don't know. Overall, the Wood Elf build's fine. Probably want at least Earthblood on your caster in case something horrible happens. On the other side, 4 Empire Knights is good. Maybe get a Knights of Blazing Sun like we mentioned. The War Wagons are really solid. I know they have served me well in the past versus Wood Elves. There's a bit of ace synergy in this build right now, whereas the Silver Bullets and the Hellstorm Rock Battery want to sit and shoot with a front line, and the War Wagons and heavy cav focus make me think Rush or Kite, but you can't do both here. So it feels like this build from Stony Strikes is trying to do 2 things at once, and I'm worried it's not going to be able to get them out. Yeah. That is like my only complaint, though. I think both of these are fine picks. I just worry, the Silver Bullets and the Hellstorm Rocket Battery, and then the War Wagons / Empire Knights. I think both of them are fine picks. I just wish they weren't in the same army at the same time. It just feels like you have too many hands in different cookie jars. Now, the Empire Knights are being used smartly. Okay, I like this. Realizing his front line is really thin, he realizes Empire Knights need to become part of the front line, and they're going to just charge in and charge out. Really like that. That's good. That's good on the fly decision making. All right. We congratulate that kind of quick thinking on the battlefield. Let's go. So Empire Knights are just stalling the engagement. That's all they're doing. They're not intending to hold it all. They're just fucking around. And while they fuck around, the Hellstorm Rocket Batteries and the War Wagons are getting their value out, realizing that this isn't in fact a kite game, that they are actually being rushed. Now, these Empire Knights do get caught sleeping a little bit, and Great Stag Knights are going to get a side charge on them. And you can see why I said that this is pretty meta for the Wood Elves to bring at least one, is because they can really chew through the heavy cav. But now we see the other side of the coin is the silver bullets are going to tear these guys a new one, and the War Wagons could also kite away and do a lot of damage. Hellstorm Rock Battery is now teeing off into the Deepwood Scouts, and Karl Franz is still chasing around the Sisters of Twilight. Now on the backfield, Glade Riders with spears and Dryads are fighting with Empire Knights, but it's a lot closer to Hellstorm Rocket Battery than I'm sure a lot of people would like. These Empire Knights are running away from the Great Stag Knights and Glade Riders with spears. Can't say I blame them. Damage value is exactly equal across both sides. Very, very even game so far. And Karl Franz dropped his attack orders on the Sisters of Twilight because, I don't know, Warhammer 3 reasons. Nasty side breath attack onto Stony Strikes from, I'm just going to call you Wuan. From Wuan. Takes out an entire swordsman unit. That is pretty good. Glade Riders with spears are just suicide diving onto the Hellstorm Rock Battery to shut it down. That is a good play. That does need to be done. The Empire might be in trouble with another disaster occurring. A Dwellers Below onto a very expensive unit paired with an Empire Knight. Oh gosh. Oh lordy. There's just too many Wood Elves. So we are about to lose both of those ranged assets we talked about earlier. Cavalry's doing okay. The kiting assets are doing fine. But the hardcore ranged didn't have enough to defend it, even with the very impressive cavalry sallying forth. Liked that a lot. It's not enough to save the backline. Yeah. That being said, the Empire's looking a little grim right now. All 3 Deepwood Scouts are still full health. Half ammo, but still full health. Sisters have plenty of ammo. They're feeling a little wounded, but if they can get their healing proc off, they'll be fine. Great Stag Knights are quite healthy. There's plenty of Dryads and Turtle Guard. For the Empire, both the War Wagons are healthy. The Mage is healthy, and Franz is healthy if you consider that he has healing on standby whenever he needs it. But the Cav is a little tattered, and the front/back line is entirely gone. So that is brutal. Quick Dwellers Below cast tries to catch these Deepwood Scouts off guard, but they are on guard, and they run away, taking a little bit of damage as they run, but still not loving it. Sisters trying to take a fight with Franz. Franz trying to take a fight with the Sisters. The Sisters shouldn't want that fight whatsoever, and they are now going to just start to walk away. Walk away, Sisters. You don't want any of this. And as more Empire Knights die, we are left with just War Wagons. I think this is the end. Throw one Empire Cav at a time. Not a great plan. I liked the original sallying forth. Afterwards, they started getting caught out one by one. Happens. It happens. I think Franz, honestly, all he can do is just take one last balls-to-the-wall desperate engagement with his Sisters and hope for a Lord Snipe, but even then, I think this game is going to be pretty rough. And he goes. And this is try to run away. 90 speed versus his 90 speed. Charge bonus should help him out a little bit, but they do have poison ammunition, so they can slow him down. Rip. Rip in peace. Yar. Yar? Yar. Yar? Yar. The Sisters just fucking land. They just become a turret emplacement. That's really funny. Because now they're surrounded by their friends and they're just like, but then they take off. Oh shit, they can't land for a while. It might be in a little bit of trouble. Ooh, the Pegasus Wizard can catch him. He's faster. Okay, here's the plan. Pegasus Wizard, 1v1 the Sisters. Easy. Easy. Trying to snipe out the caster, but those last couple arrows might just trigger army losses. There it is. Well played from both players. Well played from both players. Where is that thing? Belacor. After this next game, we will come to you. All right. So the Twilight did fine. Really good breath attacks on them. Caster and Great Stagnates did well. Deepwood Scouts did really well. Really, really well. Eternal Garden Dryads mostly didn't get much done, but they just needed to be there. Their bodies. And the Glade Artist Spears also did quite well. Franz was doing what he could, but this just ran away, which is the Wood Elf's specialty. This Hellstorm Rocket Battery actually fired a good amount and just didn't get value. I was really disappointed with the Hellstorm. Come on, man. Like, he put you in there. He gave you the time to shoot, and you just betrayed him like that. War Wagons did excellently. Silver Bullets didn't get much to fight. The Empire front line did what it had to, and the Empire Knights fought the good fight, but they were shot, murdered, cut down in the street. Rip. Okay. Mm-hmm. Map will be what? Prague? No, is Prague bad now? I don't remember. Galbaraz. And if we do one game, that would be good. Trying to get more people on. All right. Valley of Thieves. Let's go. So how are we doing on this thing? Alrighty. Cool Umbrella, Biggs, Ever Chicken is out. Stony Strikes is playing right now. You out. Then we'll have Kiara and Nevermore. Oh, there's so many people. Zope meta OP. All right, after these guys, we are going to switch to just one game. To try and give more people a shot before I have to go to bed. So we'll go to Nevermore and Kiara, and then when I go over there, I'll ping the next two people to set up a lobby, and we'll try to rapid fire through these. I didn't think this many people would want to play, honestly. And that's just on me. I'm just a shitty person. Sorry, I'm dealing with the whole thing. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. You can always take me off the list if you need. Coops, I might have to take you up on that. We will see how the night goes. I should go to sleep anyway. Biggs, you have a good night, sir. Any page where I can copy lists. What are you talking about, lists? Army lists? I don't know about copy. You can message people, and they might help you out. Trader GG is usually a pretty good resource. If you're in any discords with him, if you're in my discord, any of the pack masters are usually pretty happy to answer questions about builds, and they'll send you like screenshots of like what they like to run. But everybody's a little different. Competitive lists, yeah. Then those resources I just said. All right, sorry. Answer one more message. All right. Fine with one game, not sure who I'll use. Okay. Yeah, Tom Bombadil, I did list off those places you can go. If you're in any server and Trader GG is on there, he's usually a pretty good resource. Otherwise, if you're on mine, any of the pack masters, less so the Hell Pit Abominations, but maybe the Hell Pit Abominations will help you out too. Doesn't hurt to ask, but the pack masters I'm fairly confident will help you with builds and stuff. Easy. Easy clap. All right, Stony Strikes. Oh my god, this man is a believer. After one Hellstorm Rocket Battery didn't do it for him, he's like, you know what? I'll give you 2 more shots at the same time. He also has the Hammer of the Witches, the Great Cannon. You have 2 War Wagons, a whole bunch of Halberdiers and Spearmen. Really like that versus Ogres. I should have mentioned this is versus Ogres. The Infantry is really good. The Silver Bullets are fine. War Wagons are really good. Franz is okay. Jade Wizard's fine as well. Cannon's good. I don't like the Hellstorm Rocket Batteries versus Ogres specifically. They don't have a great target because Ogres, again, we talked about it, like they're good against Noblars, but Noblars don't matter. So I don't know about the Hellstorms in this matchup in general. I just don't like them. Aside from that, the build's good. Like, honestly, without these 2 things, these 2 Hellstorms, I think this build's fine. Better than fine. It's good. As for the other side, Ogres have triple Lead Belchers, so they're trying to kite. We have 3 Saber Tusks, 2 Mornfang Cavalry with great weapons. We also have a Slaughtermaster of the Great Maw with Troll Guts and Bone Crush, and we have double Iron Blaster. Okay. Alright. Needs more infantry, you go full 5 Spears and Halberds. Maybe, but then you're going to get kited. I think he needs more cavalry, or more cannons. Because the cannons are going to do okay. You can see they're already teeing off fine onto the Iron Blaster. The Hellstorm Rocket Batteries are shooting their hearts out and getting nothing done. Yeah. All right. There's some player drama on the sidelines that I had to deal with, so sorry about that. War Wagon's getting a bit caught out, now getting teed off on by Lead Belchers and Iron Blasters, and a sideways shot from Iron Blaster, and oh god, that is so much damage! But on the other side, the Hammer of the Witches takes out an entire Iron Blaster that is also being healed by Troll Guts, but at the moment, while it runs away, it can't dodge. Some more Mornfang Cavalry was coming up, and noticing that your opponent has no mobility whatsoever to speak of is a pretty good key for Saber Tusk packs to come in here and do some killing. So I'd probably cut the Hellstorm Rocket Batteries in this matchup and get some Empire Knights or something to peel off these guys. And the infantry now have to come back and try to defend these cannon pieces that we can see there's dogs on the insides of the formation. The dogs are coming from inside the house! But the Hammer of the Witches is doing great work. Go Hammer of the Witches, go! Go Hammer of the Witches, go! Oh my god, it's doing excellent work. Yeah. You can take me off too if you need to, Humboy. I can get some best three done work done for the league. Okay. Cool Umbrella, I will take you up on that. I'm sorry, sir, but I will also take you up on that. If you're fielding cannons, I don't think they'll be able to kite you. True. True. But Cathay gets kited by ogres quite frequently. I like the ogres just ignoring the Hellstorms, yeah. They're just doing no damage. They're doing just none, 0, zip. God, Hellstorms. Besides the Sun, I think the Sunmaker is just good enough to give Hellstorms like enough credit that people try them and then they get disappointed. But on the side note, his cannons are doing great. Franz is trying to do a Lord Snipe, which at this point in the game is necessary, though he's now surrounded by Mournfangs, and I wouldn't hate for both Hellstorms to turn over and try and hit him while he's all blobbed up like that. But the Empire's down to just Spear Infantry. And where's their healer? Okay, he's over here. He needs to come back and heal Franzi. Franzi! Franzi! Alright, he breaks free. Can he get up in the air? Can he get up in the air? Up in the air for the old Franzination. No, he does get charged in the butt. And he's still trying to run away. He's going to get up into the sky. No, he's not, because now there's dogs all over him, and he needs a regrowth if he can get it soon. For that, yes. Outside of tons of infantry, Hellstorms are terrible. Yeah. And, yeah, Coops, one of the Hellstorms is still online after all that. And the Hammer of the Witches! The crew's back somewhere. The flag is with the thing, but the crew's coming back. Franz is routed by the Mournfang Cavalry, which will auto-path him to run away. It looks like he is getting a regrowth coming in from the caster soon. That'll be good. Oh, God, these Mournfang Cav are coming straight for the Hellstorm. The Hellstorm's still firing at Leadbelchers, just trying to do it. Just wants to do good. Where's the Great Cannon crew? There they are. These Sabertows don't know that they're there, because the flag's all the way over there. Oh, Franz isn't actually getting any healing. It looks like the regrowth wasn't ready, and Franz is dead. Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah. Unfortunately, Hellstorms are not the way to go. If you place them with some cavalry, this could be pretty good, because once your opponent realized you have no mobility, they could just run wherever they wanted to and take the fights they wanted to. But a couple Empire Cav would hold people in place. Silver Bull is trying to shoot the Sabertows packs, but they're having some line of sight issues, so they had to run up to like point blank range. That one, he had an attack order, they just ran up to point blank range because Silver Bullets are being silly. And now they're just spinning infinitely to try to get these dogs. Bone Crush is going to do some damage, but Armalos is coming in hot for the Empire. And Ogre Kite will win the day. GG, well played. Stony Strikes. Thank you for having the courage to play on a new person thingy. I know it's hard, man. It's hard learning this stuff. Mournfang Cav did fine. Iron Blasters did okay. Leadbelchers did fine. Dogs did great. But I hope to see both of you in the future. And I now move to find Kiara and Nevermore. GG, Stony. GG. Lobby. Alright, I'll ping the next two people while we wait. So Coops offered to step down, which is probably good. I do need to do that. Biggs and Cool Umbrella. Okay, so we have Kiara and Nevermore, and then we have a Nice Duck, Chaz, and Guillaume who want to play. So we have 3 people left to play. Which we can do that. We can do that. At a Nice Duck and at Guillaume, you are up next. Can you host a lobby and get your armies ready while I spec Kiara and Never? So these will be our first 2 mid-tier players of the night. We have actually had an all-noob stream. Cool Umbrella and Coops would be 2 other mid-tier players, but they both stepped down. Oh, get in here, hubby. Okay, that's the lobby. I see. Alright, we're in. Vampire Coast versus Dark Elves. Cool. 15 factions was already overwhelming. Yeah. Yes. So these are the first two mid-tier players. Nevermore played a good amount of Warhammer 2. Was getting pretty gosh darn solid. And then I haven't seen them for many an eon. So I have no idea how rusty they've gotten. Or they've been playing in secret and not telling me. And then Kiara has been around the scene in Warhammer 3. I think that's where she started out. She played a lot before Immortal Empires. And now that Immortal Empires is out, the learning curve has steepened as the amount of factions tripled. So, yes. What map? I don't know. Let's do Gorgazon. Okay. Cool. Because I don't want to play my mains on a learn stream. That is smart. That is smart. That is the way to go. We have broken ass pyramids. Look at these broken ass pyramids. Look at them. Look at them. Wow, the textures on these pyramids are pretty good. It almost makes you think this is a good game. But it's not. It's not. It's a shit game. It's a shit game that I just spend 80 hours a week covering. I'm kidding. I enjoyed this game. You know, did the Tomb Kings know they were going to be skeletons when they built these things? Because a lot of their stuff is rather skeletal themed. And that's kind of fucked up. If they didn't know they were going to be cursed by Nagash to undeath. Like, that's some foreshadowing for you there. Okay. So we're in. Dark Elves versus Vampire Coast. I think you can play this two ways. You can either play it with cannons and a bit of a gun line and then a shit ton of chaff and play defensively, or you can rush them. I think either is fine. What do we got? If you want to hop in on Coops and I, when we play our best of 3, super try hard action, feel free. Some true meta-defining battles. Hell yeah. We'll see when I get through the thingy, Cool Umbrella. Cool Umbrella, do you still do content or not as much? They were Civ obsessed with death? Oh, okay, that tracks. Thanks, Loopy. Thanks for the lore tidbit. All right, we have double Carronade, Queen Bess, quadruple animated Hulk, a whole bunch of zombie pirate deckhand mobs, some with pointy sticks, some without. We have the Depth Guard with pole arms, Count Noctilus, 2 bomber mobs, and 2 zombie pirate gunnery mobs. They do not have handguns, so they do the pistol variant. Okay. So Kiara is going with the defensive playstyle that you can do. They had the Cult of the Dead. Yeah, smart. All right. On the Dark Elf side, for Nevermore, we have Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, some Black Ark Corsairs to try and push through the front line. We have 1 Scourge Runner Chariot, Dark Riders of Shields paired with Slaanesha's Harvesters, paired with Harpies, and 2 Dark Riders of Peter Crossbows. That is an awful lot of unit diversity. We have Malekith on his dragon of all things with Soul Stealer and then his Gaze of Malice ability, Standing Ground and Noxious Breath. But yahar. I keep checking the same message over and over again. What does Nocti have for spells? Pit of Shade, Summon, and Invocation Heck. That's solid. That's real solid. I like both builds a lot, but these are mid-tier players. So you would kind of expect their builds to be rather on point, and I think they are. That is a big thing. The biggest thing that separates a novice player from a mid-tier player is build knowledge. I'll stand by that 100%. Knowing what a good build is definitely the biggest difference between two players. If you gave a newer player a pre-built good build, they could have some pretty close games versus a newer player. So both these are very tournament ready. Good, strong builds. The biggest difference between a mid-tier player and a high-tier player is you both have good builds and one of you is just way better at the game. Like, it's just, you know, you see Voidlaws play and it looks like his units are all individually piloted by a different person, you know, most of the time. And you watch like me or either one of these players or, you know, Cool Umbrella, Coops, Rusty, Rocket, any of the people hanging around my Discord. We have a ton of mid-tier players who are very active. The high-tier players are usually just sitting in clan chats doing their own things. But, yeah. You see us play, and, yeah, we'll make mistakes. You know, we'll leave stuff around. We'll forget about things. Like, that's just pretty common. But our builds are solid enough that that really carries us through a lot of things. But, yeah, the super high-tier players that win most tournaments, like, it's just a skill gap. Knowing what's crap, what's not, like choosing dryads over sexy ladies. I haven't been doing any streams since I started playing again. I'm considering it, though, as well as host Turn Skin. Just been playing enough right now. Trying to shake the rust. Well, Cool Umbrella, if you ever do any stuff, let me know and I'll help you shout it out. Not picking your favorite seven-headed monster? Ostrick, are you around for a game? I need a fourth. Either that or I'll get Coops or Cool Umbrella, because I think Biggs went to bed, but it'd be nice to have a newer player versus another newer player. Because we have Chaz, who needs an opponent. But just thought I would ask you, because you are also actually newer. Alright. We are on with the show. So Scourge-Runner Chariots are going to have to be used more as a chariot than as the skirmish capacity for this game. They'll need to get in there, they'll need to muck up some stuff. Now this is exactly why the animated Hulks are great. They got some big buffs, being only 500 gold apiece. That makes them as expensive as dogs. I'll say that again. This unit is as expensive as dogs. It has armor piercing, 34 melee attack, and large body size. If you are playing Vampire Coast, take animated Hulks. For the love of God. They're so good now at stopping cavalry, at stopping chariots, something the Coast used to really struggle with. Or you'd have to pay like 1,100 gold for crabs. So animated Hulks, huge buff, making the Coast a top tier roster in my opinion. Now the Dark Elf front line is closing in. The animated Hulks plus the zombies should be able to hold forever, and we do have some bombers nearby that can also help out. Malekith is going to have to make a significant difference in this game. As you can see, bombers are destroying his bleak swords, but Malekith's going to have to solo carry. That guy has 3,000 gold under his belt, and he's going to have to go use it because his front line is going to lose unsupported. His mobility assets are probably not going to be able to break into the box. It's going to have to be some good soul stealers and some good breath attacks. Thanks for letting me play. I definitely need to work my builds in micro, Stoney. I really liked your first Empire game. I liked your on-the-fly decision-making. Obviously, things fell through a little bit after that, but I was really impressed by your ability to retool what you saw based on the matchup. That was nice. That was good reactivity. Liked it. Meanwhile, Noctilus throws out a Pit of Shades, catching 2 Dark Elf units. Dark Elves across the front line are all dying. Damage value is about 2 to 1 at the moment, as Malekith is going to dive in onto cannons and try and shut them down. Harpies are also coming in. Dark Riders are coming in, Dark Riders, Slaanesha's Harvesters. So this is where the Dark Elves try to get their way back into this game once the Cav gets here. The Cav, the only uncontested advantage that the Dark Elves do have. Where are our Skirmish Cav? I don't know, but they should be shooting the Animated Hulks or Animated Hulks. Animated Hulks or Depth Guard, I guess. Where's the other Dark Rider? There was 2 Repeater Crossbows. Oh no, one's forgotten! I did mention that mid-tier players can do that. We all forget units from time to time. So Nevermore is going to have to fix that. We have a Soul Stealer hitting Count Noctilus and a Cannon and Queen Bess right now. That is a really good cast. And I wonder if it's the Soul Stealer. It is. One of the Soul Stealers from the Slaanesha's Harvesters. Another Wraith Storm is hitting Malekith, and he has taken a lot of damage. He does need to get out of here at some point. One cannon is crumbling, gone as the Doomfire Warlocks pile into it, and this Dark Rider Repeater Crossbow is still forgotten. Yeah. Speaking of trap units. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, 4-person Soul Stealer is going to hit. Malekith is now healing up from that, and the Doomfire Warlocks are coming over to deal with Queen Bess. Damage value is now in Nevermore's favor as he shuts down the cannons and Queen Bess. Those are huge value traits for him as you see him skyrocket up. Now, my problem with what's going on right now is... What's this? Breath attack? Okay, that's a fine breath attack. I'll talk about that in a second. There's a lot of blue left over here. And red is about out of infantry, so it's going to be largely on Cav, cycle charging, and kiting. Which, ooh, actually, yeah, he could kite for quite a while. Yeah, Nevermore could kite for quite a while. If he takes out both cannons and Queen Bess. Alright. That is what he should do. He has shut down all the ranged assets. He just needs to get the fuck out of here. At this point, and use all of his repeater crossbow ammunition to just kill all the animated hulks, do some damage to random zombies, I guess. Kill the depth guard wherever they are. Are they still alive? Oh yeah, they're right there. Shoot the depth guard. Ooh, we need to shoot the depth guard. For the Vampire Coast, they've lost all their agency tools, so now they're kind of stuck in this slow-moving blob that just needs to walk around. You know, they lost their cannons, they lost Queen Bess. They never had dogs in the first place. It's not like they have gun bats or anything. But really nice caps around. Really good Soul Stealer spam from Nevermore. I really like the Sinestros Harvesters for that. You can just see it just did a crap load of damage. The Sinestros Harvesters in general. I have not seen this unit very much, and they already have 2,000 value, and they're still at half HP. That is really nice stuff from him. Really nice. And even forgetting that extra Dark Rider now in the late game is just a piece with a crap ton of ammo. Yep, Stony, hope to see you around. Hope to see you around, buddy. As you saw in our Discord, I think I mentioned it a couple times, we do have a couple places where new players can find other new players to play with, or, you know, stuff like that. You can always DM me on Discord too, and I'll try to help you find some people who want to play. The most frustrating part for people that I've heard is, you know, they just feel like they keep losing and they can't find anybody. And I'm like, well, I know 4 other people who say they keep losing, and you know, only one of you can be right that you literally never win. At some point, when 2 people who say they never win meet up, one of you's gonna win. So I do try to connect these people and get some even matchups, because you can, like, you know, you can sit down and try Super Smash Brothers for the first time, but if you're playing with like a tournament Super Smash Brothers player, you're gonna have a shit time, and you're like, well, this is a shit game. It's like, no, it's not a shit game. You just don't have everybody to play with. Ugh. That's why we've been focusing on growing the community, as it's like, you know, the people who are really good at this game are actually quite small in number. I promise you, quick battle enjoyers, if you joined us, there would be more of you than them. So it's hard. Anyway, you can see what we were talking about. The Dark Riders with Pure Crossbows are just sitting back using their ammunition. Doomfire Warlocks got out of there and are now just sitting. Malekith's getting off some breath attacks, getting off some Soul Stealers, really whittling down the Vampire Coast force. And Count Noctilus is now the last residual balance of power bastion. Animated Hulks are probably going to finish off the Scourge Runner Chariot just before they crumble away to dust. No, it's hanging in there. Malekith takes another Wraith Storm, but a quick Gaze of Malice will do a lot of damage to all these units. Oof. Oof. Oh, one of those Dark Riders has half of its ammunition left. That is brutal. Noctilus is going to have to get some pretty significant hits onto Malekith right now to keep the balance of power at bay from army lossing him, or he's going to need to get some summons out. I don't actually think the Vampire Coast is in such a bad situation. They're in a bad situation, but they're not in such a bad situation, but the balance of power is getting a little over antsy. The tail of the movable object unstoppable for us. Hopefully they'll do the Hulk treatment to the sexy ladies. Yeah, the Wood Elves need some help. What up, Scroot? I'm busy stealing Murphalurf, twitch.tv/Murphalurf's content. That's like the 4th time I've plugged him. So I'm doing my best out here. You can see, now that Malekith is just sitting in combat with Noctilus, Noctilus is not doing that bad, which is why I think the army losses is slightly full of shit. Because your Repeater Crossbows can't hit Noctilus very well. Noctilus probably has some summons, maybe, depending on how his Winds of Magic situation is looking like. And he can fight Malekith quite well. So I really hope it doesn't army loss the Vampire Coast here, and that they have a chance to actually fight their way through this. I would say it's not just getting good builds, but understanding how the build works. That's why it's important to get on Discord and VC with people who... Yeah, Cool Umbrella. Yeah. But I think you could agree that, like, Stony, not to... Like, we're not making fun of you, we're just talking about a game. Stony brought those 2 Hellstorm rocket batteries that fired all game and did nothing against the ogres, and it's like... Well, that's a significant portion of his funds going into a unit that apparently sucks. Like, against the ogre specifically. But if someone handed him a build that was like, this is an anti-ogre build that like some meta-knowledge player made and uses in tournaments, I think he would have had like a significantly closer game, or even have won that game. But he just didn't have the right units, because it's like, Because you can't just look at a stat card and you're like, yeah, this Hellstorm rocket battery with this high missile strength and a lot of missiles is just going to miss most of the time. Because the unit card doesn't tell you if it's going to miss most of the time. You know, and there's all sorts of like hidden stats and other bullshit that you just have to know by playing over and over again. Which like sucks. It sucks. But that's why we're trying to provide as many people that instead of playing like 10 games in a row and you're like, huh, maybe frostworms aren't that good. You can just ask someone and they're like, yeah, frostworms suck. Like, don't use frostworms. Anyway. Noctilus did great. Queen Bess did okay, but didn't pay for herself. Carronades did okay, but they got shut down. Animated Hulks did fine. Bombers did excellently. And Zombie Spam did just fine. Depth Guard got Soul Stealered into oblivion. Soul Stealer Kith cast 3,500 damage value worth of Soul Stealers. Celestial's Harvesters 2,300, which is incredibly trading up for them. Dark Rider Crossbows did fine. Harpies did okay. Dark Riders did fine. Bleak Swords, Dread Spears, and Black Ark Corsairs got murdered. But Malekith put on his carry pants like we said he had to. And he did, in fact, carry it very well. Very well done. A Nice Duck has a lobby for us. We are coming your way, Nice Duck. Air Fryer. Oh, no. Who's getting air fried? Well played to Kiara and Nevermore. That was a very, very close game. I think the balance of power, like I said, was a little overzealous. I do think, in the end, Nevermore probably would have won that from that game state. But we'll see. Okay. If Osric is in, then Chaz and Osric will be the last game of the night. And if not, then we'll find somebody else to play Chaz. To set up a lobby, we will join you after this game. You can do picks and builds. Map is Tower of Helith. We'll see how that goes. 3 is messaging me. What up, 3? Let me know if you're down to have me for another game at the end of the stream. Also wanted to do a 2v2. I'm down for that. Your decision for the rest of the night. Me and Chaz never got to do a game last time, so I figured I'd ask. I'm winding down for the night, so I do need Chaz to have an opponent. I think Osric volunteered, and I know some people who opted to not play if I needed them to that I could call on. 3, and I would like to give as many different people a chance at the stream as possible. But, as you know, because you've been hanging around a lot recently, we try to do this more often. People clearly enjoy it. I will try to do better. I also just have a job and IRL stuff that I am busy with. So, yeah, we're doing our best. We're doing our best out here. Also, Murphalurf might do this content again, which I will definitely promote. Frostworms are fine, that's true. This is your 4th time VP ever. The folks that always complain about losing in the Eshin. Oh, no. Screw. I haven't had any people complaining the Eshin stuff yet. I mean, yet. No. But yeah, I don't want to flame anybody because it's fine. It is like I've been there. It's really fucking frustrating to lose every game. It just sucks. But like, it's so hard to find these other people because, like, you know, if Kiara or I play 100 games and we get like 100 different new people and we beat all 100 of them, and they just go, well, everybody's like this sucks, but we experienced 100 different new people. Like, but the problem is Kiara and I are playing 100 games a day, and new players are playing like 3 or 4 after work, you know? So it's just like, there are a lot of new players out there, but you're usually going to run into the same grinders, which is why we've been trying to make events that are like, here are some people that are your skill level. Even after this event, maybe keep contact with them. Say, hey, you want to play some games? Because I know I had some close games with you. Because it sucks. It does suck. Queuing up onto ladder and getting the central scrutinizer and he bodies your ass. Or the blood penguin and he bodies your ass. You're just trying to learn some things. And it's like, well, I just got shit blasted in 30 seconds, so I didn't learn anything. It sucks. So we're doing our best to make that easier. All right. Guillermo versus Steen Winter. We have Malekith, Up again, Soul Stealer, Gaze of Malice, and Dragon Breath. I mean, you can't take the Dragon Breath off. We have triple Scourge Runner Chariot, triple Dark Riders, all with shields, it looks like, triple Cold One Knights, 1 Dark Rider repeater crossbows, and 4 Dread Spears. Versus who? Bretonnia. Oh, this is traditionally thought of as a Bretonnia favored matchup, but after the changes, I wonder if it even still is. We have Reponse! Fuck yeah! Bad Lord, but fuck yeah! Reponse, baby! We have Knights of the Realm, Questing Knights. Ooh, those Questing Knights would be real good versus Scourge Runner Chariots. We have Peasants, we have some random Men-at-Arms, Peasant Bowman with Pox Arrows, Men-at-Arms, the Beast Slayers of Bastogne, the anti-large version of stuff. We have Pegasus Knights, and a Damsel of Life with Dwells Below and Earthblood. More Questing Knights. This build is fine for the most part. I like one Pegasus Knight to trade against Marathi Double Manticore while getting arrow support is actually pretty smart. Unfortunately, Marathi Double Manticore aren't here, but I still like the Pegasus Knights overall. The Questing Knights are also solid, and the Knights of the Realm are good. I would maybe cut 1 Questing Knight and get more Knights of the Realm, probably. And unfortunately, Reponse is just a bad lord. She's my thematically favorite lord, but I have tried her so many times I can tell you she is just terrible. Unfortunately, she just doesn't have what it takes to be good. Who is messaging me right now? Okay, hold on. I will check all these messages in a bit. Just making sure none of them was urgent. Pegasus Knights are going to land. Start to trade with some of the Scourge Runner Chariots. In the situation that Steenwinter was in, honestly, that wasn't the worst call, where it was just you're getting picked off by Scourge Runner Chariots and you might as well dive in and get some value. Now, before they get picked off, seeing all this skirmish cav, you might just want to pull them back here and keep them behind you and just keep Malekith honest, is what you could do next time. Is if Malekith ever thinks about getting, like, oh, I'm going to walk over here and just get a free breath attack, they come swooping in, and he has to back off towards his skirmish, and then you back off back here. So kind of use him as a bouncer, you know, like, hey, you want to get into this club? Well, you're going to have to deal with some fucking Pegasus Knights, rather than being aggressive with them. But once they were getting kited and shot, you might as well get value with them before they died. That kind of thing. Now, I really like this so far. We do need to back up these knights a little bit and wait for the infantry to get here, but the Dark Elves only have 4 infantry, and they have no archers. So I really like the overall plan of moving up the infantry slowly and keeping the cav back overall while you wait for the infantry. Now, a little bit of a mistake of being just inside the range here. You can see that circle. They're just inside the range, so they're a little too close, but the idea was right to wait for all of the peasants. That's pretty good. We have Questing Knights taking a fight with Dark Riders. They will win that, but they're currently getting shot by repeater crossbows and Scourge Runners. And the fucking Pegasus Knights are back, baby! Let's go! They're trying to stop the Dark Riders. Hell yeah. Alright, we have Questing Knights charging after Scourge Runner Chariots, and they will get countercharged by Cold Knights. Cold Knights should probably trade quite effectively, but with the Lance Formation, oh, that's another thing. Lance Formation is usually pretty bad. It does give nice stats, but what it also does is it makes you have less of a spread. So when you make contact, you're only going to contact with, like, see, you're contacting with this amount, while the Dark Elves are contacting with this amount. So they have more models swinging at you than you have swinging back at them. That's why the Lance Formation is generally considered pretty bad, unfortunately. Even though it gives you more stats, it just doesn't make up for it in the amount of bodies making contact and swinging. It's unfortunate, but true. Reponse is trying to find a place to do anything, and a nice breath attack from Malekith is going to hurt these guys. Now, they mulched down a Colden Knight, just eviscerated it, but they are getting skirmished, they are getting countercharged, and they are now getting surrounded by spears in the meantime. Dark Elves are significantly up on damage value, and a dragon is now landing on Reponse, and she does not like that whatsoever. On the far side, there is some kiting going on. Knights are running for the hills. Ooh, and the peasant archers were forgotten a little bit. Unfortunate there. If they were in range, they could be shooting Malekith or shooting some of these Golden Knights or something like that, but they were forgotten a little bit. Bretonnia's superior infantry quality is moving up. They are starting to do a little bit of damage, but Bretonnia has never been known for their infantry carries. And, oh, very nice Dweller Below. Very nice. It's going to catch 3 units. Yeah, it's even catching that guy. Okay. That was a good Dwellers Below cast. Nice heads up play there. Scourge Runners are all about out of ammunition. These Dark Riders still have plenty, and now the extra Colden Knights are getting back onto the peasants and really shutting them down. Malekith has 1.5 million peasants to deal with, but I think he's going to be okay with that. As he still fights her pawn, she pops all of her buffs. She's trying to fight. She's trying to get in there. She's trying to scrap. And Earthblood even comes down to heal up her pawns. Yes. Heals up Reponse a little bit. Beast Slayers of Bastion need to come over here and fight with Malekith, probably. And Bretonnia is scrapping. They are scrapping while at a very down position, but they aren't giving up, and I appreciate that. Scourge Chariots are piling in now that they kind of have to. And Questing Knights are going to try to catch Malekith on the ground. He did just use Soul Stealer a second ago, so it's not up to punish this blob just yet. If Reponse can get in here, and the Beast Slayers, maybe something could happen. Now, this is turning into a bit of a blob, and the normal blah blah part of me would say, like, one of these infantry shouldn't be here, but shit happens sometimes, and honestly, the game's looking so rough at this point, you just kind of have to swing at Malekith and hope it's all you got. But Soul Stealer is back off cooldown. It will hit everybody here, and even a terror route just starts going through the Bretonnian forces. Questing Knights barely hanging on to their leadership while their cowardly peasants abandon them. The Beast Slayers of Bastion are here to push off the Scourge on Chariot, plus some more Knights of the Realm charging in from the rear. Malekith is getting away free and happy with all of his Soul Stealer healing. Yar. Next Soul Stealer, oh god. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. How should Bretonnia tackle the Scourge on Chariot? Hey, wait, is that charge formation worth it now? No, it's pretty bad. Good night, Kiara. Malekith did great. Golden Knights did fine. Dark Riders did okay. Scourge on Chariots did well. That was a very nice build. On the other side, Steen Winterd, I liked a lot of your plays. As we were just talking about right before your game, I think the build ran into some problems, especially around the Lord area, and you played your ass off despite it. But I think if you shore up that build a little bit, you'll be just fine. Because the play was pretty good. The Dwellers was on point. Reponse, being a duelist lord, kept on Malekith the whole time, which was pretty good. Infantry were well spread out. You waited for the infantry advance quite nicely, that sort of thing. But yeah, the lance formation was unfortunately not great, and Pegasus Knights got picked off and that kind of thing. But overall, sound strategy, good sir. All right, I have to go. Find one more game. Chaz, last game of the night. And then I will leave this place. If any of you are enjoying this content, we hope to see you on the next one as well. I will try to plan out for more time, if I can find it. More time for a longer stream and get more people to play more games. Sorry, the end here we went to just one game. And some people even had to drop out. If you did drop out, very, very, very sorry about that. Oh, God. It is a good problem to have that a lot of people want to play, but I hate disappointing everybody. Well, not everybody. I hate disappointing anybody. In. So we have Osric and Chaz. Osric, I wanted to get on stream once because he beat one of my tournament favorites in a new player tournament, and I was excited to get to watch him, but we didn't get to, and he did get knocked out before I got to see him, so I have been excited for this for a while. Chaz has been on the stream a few times. Good player, getting better every single time. He's just so good! Alright, I need to... where's that thing? Pods. Pods. So... Grun beat Osric. Okay. Alright, I am ready. Alright, sorry. I am looking at some things. Killer Lion, how are you doing? Oh, God. That is a loaded question. Alright. I'm back. A picture of the fat rat. How can you not be doing well? True. There's just some player drama behind the scenes. There's someone just being an asshole and then getting mad at me for telling him to stop it or he won't be able to play in my events. And he's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. And I'm like, I also don't have to let you play. Like, I just don't have to. And it wasn't about this stream. It was no one on this stream. It's drama that's been going on for a week. But it's like, some people, man, they just assume that... Alright, to get on my soapbox for just a second, they assume that there is this higher court of law that is gonna come after me if I don't let someone play. If someone is constantly an asshole, just constantly being a dick, no one wants to play with them. They're constantly pushing the rules, breaking them sometimes, not breaking them other times. They're no fun. Casting them is absolutely no fun. Like, if all of these things are true, I don't have to let you play. You're hurting my community. You're hurting my channel. You're hurting my content. You're hurting my enjoyment of something I put money into. I don't make money from this. I put money into this. So I only do it because I like to and I like the community. And if you're ruining it for me, I don't have to let you play. And I told this person, stop being a dick or I'm going to kick you for these reasons. And now he's in my DMs blowing them up about like how, oh, well, if you ban me, you're going to have a bad reputation. And I'm like, I have a bad reputation because I let you play, dude. Anyway. So it's just a bunch of drama. I have to deal with it after the stream's over. As for these, we have Chaz versus Osric. We have 2 Chameleon Stalkers out front. Interesting. Normally I see these units put in a vast vanguard, but it looks like they're just going to be on the front of this line, which is okay. These are Bunker Buster units. They have these little fire grenades they throw in front of them, and they punch through a front line quite nicely. We have some Pterodons with Fire Leech Bolas. This is pretty good. Feral Bastillodon is the cheapest source of terror in the entire game, I think, with only 650 cost. Skink Oracle for some kiting. We have another Bastillodon with a Revivification Crystal. Nakai the Wanderer is a Chad pick. I don't know how he does into Torox, but maybe okay. Don't know. Usually not well. We have some Feral Cold Ones. Love that unit after their buffs. They're great. Then we have some Saurus Spears, and we have Red Crested Skinks with Armor Piercing. Really good Lizardmen build. Like it a lot versus the Beastmen. On the other side, Razorgore Herds for their nice armor piercing. These pigs are generally worth it these days. We have Kazric on a chariot. Fuck yeah, Kazric! And after his buffs, he's kind of okay. I still don't know if he's good or if he's just okay or if he's bad, but he got some buffs, so he's worth trying. Bunch of Archers is good. Throwing Axes are excellent here. Koroks Man Rippers are fine. Gore Herds are fine. Harpies are good. And a Deathcaster is good. Purple Sun I don't really love since you can't direct it anymore, but it is okay. Spirit Leech on the enemy lord constantly can be pretty nice. That looks like it's it for the Beastman build, so they're charging in. They also have some Centaurs, not with the Axe variant. The only note about the Beastman build is Tuskor Chariots, and Chariots in general are extremely good against Lizardmen. They only have Feral Cold Ones that can attack them, and Feral Cold Ones frequently rampage and lose sight of what's important. So, Chariots are important, otherwise this build is excelente. The fighting is in deep already, as it always is with the Beastmen. The fight starts early and very, very bitterly. Saurus are killing Gore Herds slowly, but eventually they will be coming for you Archers, so you better get your value out now. Meanwhile, Nakai is bodying the Bray Shaman of Death, who does not want to be there at all. Beastmen are flanking every other thing, but Centaurs are fighting the cohort of Sotek, so that is a melee unit that is crushing them. They'll need to back off of that fight. These Razorgores, 2 of them are stuck on the Feral Bastillodon, one of them needs to separate out. Throwing Axes are killing The Revivification Crystal, very nice. We mentioned earlier it can't heal itself, so it is a great target to start off with, and then you kill everything else later. Gore herds are fighting Saurus Spears. Centaurs got out of this fight now, and Kazric is still rolling dirty. Damage value is quite even, so is the balance of power, and these Ungor Raiders are going to have to do some nasty, nasty work. Looks like one is poking after Nakai, one is poking after Pterodons. Solid stuff. Razorgores are still doing their best here, but they do need to find a different target because the big dinos are surprisingly hard to get through. Even with arm-piercing pigs, they have a small profile, so there's not a lot of pigs surrounding the actual model and getting their damage off, and then it has a high health pool. That's why if you ever surround a dinosaur, you're like, why won't this thing die? Not a lot of your units get to attack. Look at how many of those pigs aren't even touching the dinosaur because it's so small, which is a strength. I don't think dinosaurs are OP, so I'm okay with them having like this facet of being tanky. Archers got caught up in the Saurus a little bit. They should be backing up whenever the front line comes near them. A little bit unfortunate there. Skink Oracle is going to start sniping Kazric, and it'll do incredible damage. So will Nakai, so he needs to run away. Run, Kazric, run! Run, Kazric, run! Anyway, Centaurs with throwing axes have tons of ammunition, but they're currently stuck in melee combat with some of the red-crested skinks again. Oof. That is tough. That is tough. Some of the kiting elements you can see are getting caught in melee, and that has been a bit of a problem. But the throwing axes are doing their work against the Bastillodon. We're seeing that in spades, why I think this unit is really good in this matchup. The Centaurs are trying to surround Superior-Stalkers and Saurus. But Saurus, man, after these buffs, Saurus are world beaters. Chariots are good for that. That's why they can charge in and out, and take care of the Saurus. But without them, you might be a little bit stuck. Krox Man Rippers are trying to fight Nakai, but he got some healing from the Skink Oracle, who does have Earthblood. Rev Crystal's running. So are the Beastmen. And that is tough. That is tough. Soneshbot, go away. Shoo. You're doing the God's work with these events? Hey, thanks, man. Hey, thanks. I'll catch up with chat in a little bit as I wind down the night. Throwing axes are running out of ammunition. They have gotten a lot of their damage out, but the Lizardmen have tons of healing these days. Tons of healing. They take a slight edge on the balance of power. The damage value is incredibly even, but it doesn't look that way because of all the healing. There was a Rev Crystal at one point. There is Skink Oracle that can spam out Earthbloods, and also I guess the Beastmen did use a lot of their ammunition as their value, and if their archers like shattered or something, that damage value would spike up, but yar. Good charge. On the charge, the Razorgores and the Centaurs get a lot of damage. Kazric rolls dirty through the cohort of Sotek, who they refuse to die. Korok's Man Rippers are still trying to fight. How have they done? They've always been in the middle of stuff. Are they getting good value? Okay. We take those. Centaurs with throwing axes are shooting at Nakai, who's doing his hibbity hop to the coffee shop right into the back of some Centaurs, trying to bail out his Res Crystal. That actually could be rallied, even at that low of HP. Maybe an Earthblood on it, or Cold-Blooded or something, and he'll come right back. That's pretty funny. What's the Deathcaster done this game? Some stuff? Ooh, Lizardmen out of infantry. Ah, that could be a problem. If the Beastmen have like anything left in the tank, the Lizardmen are running out of gas. They have some single entities that could die to archers and throwing axes. And they have the cohort of Sotek. Yeah, I don't think the Beastmen have enough left to punish this, but this ended up being close. For a while there, it looked like the Lizards were just going to take this out, and then I looked around and realized that the Lizards are about out of gas. They have just Nakai and a Skink Oracle as, like, real units left. But that is plenty. I mean, that is, like, a third of your army funds, so don't get me wrong. But, yeah. Damn. Kazric should go into melee with the Skink Oracle 100%. This thing sucks in melee, which it's supposed to. It's a kiting unit, so he can maybe take it out. Take out the caster and a very expensive shooting piece all at once, and maybe you could find your way back into this game. There are a lot of Beastmen around, and we have a Deathcaster who could spam Spirit Leech onto targets that no longer have healing access. These archers somehow get pulled into melee combat. They do need to back up and keep shooting, and these ones off in the woods are, gonna have to defend themselves from Chameleon Stalkers that are gonna beat them up pretty badly. Kazric takes a fight with Nakai. Nakai's gonna beat him in the face, but actually Kazric's trading fine. Kazric's trading okay. Can he carry this game? It doesn't look like it as Nakai's getting a hit in there, but it looks like both players are trading pretty evenly. Kazric is now just going to cycle charge over to the Skink Oracle, and I'm really liking this Beastman late game a lot. A lot. There was a couple mistakes in the mid game where, the caster shattered. That's really bad for the Beastmen. But there's a couple times in the mid game where like archers would end up in melee combat, or Centaurs with throwing axes would end up in melee combat. But I really like His target prioritization, I really like the fights he took. He made Kazric actually look pretty good. He didn't get a lot of value, but he was cycle charging around and stuff. I like that a lot. I think the beastmen player needed to work on magic, because I just didn't... Maybe I missed it, but I just didn't see a lot of magic getting casted. Yeah. So, that and ranged unit positioning is fine. For Chaz, it was a good build. It was interesting. I liked it. I'm trying to think of notes. I mean, his play was really good. I don't love Nakai. I just don't. But his play was really good. I didn't see any big notes on play, like, oh, you forgot this, or oh, you did this. It was solid. GG. It's you, fat kid at recess? Oh, yeah, dude. Is it that sore loser guy? Actually, no, it's a different person. Line battles suck, and I demand to play more of it on your dime. Yeah. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Asorkin. Chariots are bugged, though, or at least kind of bad. Beastman fights always have a master class or F. Everything's dead by the 4-minute mark. Yeah, Beastmen are pretty fast. Nakai got 2,200 value. Skink Oracle did 1,400. Red Crested Skink and the Saurus did quite well. Pterodons paid for themselves. Queen of Stalkers paid for themselves. Everything paid for itself, which is pretty good for them. Kazric, honestly, in the end, did fine. He was a good lord there. Brave Shaman of Death did okay. Just got sniped out by something. Maybe it was the Skink Oracle. Throwing Axes did great. Razor Gore Herds did great. Gore Herds did okay. Koros Man Rippers did fine. Centaurs did okay. Archers did well. Harpies did well. Everything in this battle did well. That's pretty funny. So I guess how that happened is the Lizardmen had to kill the entire Beastman force to win the game, because you can see everything's almost entirely dead. And the Beastman force was killing the lizards who were healing, so they were getting extra value, is how everything ended up paying for itself. I don't think... So now that I'm looking at the builds in the post-game screen, I can kind of crystallize my thoughts a little bit. I don't think the Gore Herds are worth it, because they're never going to beat Saurus. So maybe they'll beat Skinks, but Ungors will try to beat Skinks anyway. So if your opponent goes with Saurus, you're going to lose whether you have Gores or Ungors. And if your opponent goes with Skinks, you'll kind of beat them with Gores, but I think you'll kind of beat them with Ungors. So you could probably cut the Gore Herds and turn them into Ungors and save yourself some money. Korok's Man Rippers were neat. They did end up paying for themselves, so I guess they're fine. Just leave them. But if you get maybe some cheaper chaff and then don't make those mistakes we talked about for Ostrich, you'll be totally fine. That was some pretty good play. I really liked the cycle charging with Kazric. You clearly had a good handle on what to do with your units. It was just a couple little slip-ups micro cost you some ranged units that had a lot more love to give. You can see the one that didn't get caught got 960 value, and the one that did get caught only got 260. So that's what I'm talking about, is like, ranged units are one of those things that they'll, if they are allowed to shoot, they will get 4 times their value, and this guy just didn't get to do that. So, yeah. Like I said, Chaz just played well. I think both players played rather close in skill, and I think their builds were both rather good. It's just one party made slightly more mistakes, and that is the decider at some time. But GG to Chaz was a fun one. Had some micro mishaps. Poor Brave Shaman didn't like his FaceTime with Nakai. Oh, he met Nakai at one point? Yeah, I must have missed that. I heard the Mofet drama. What happened? Many people write about it. I haven't heard a lot from whom. Void, I can message you about it off stream. I can give you a message about it off stream. The main point that I want to get to for everybody, and this goes for everybody. Don't be a dick. Because nobody has to let you do anything. Some people have been kicked from Turin's Discord for saying, like, words and political things they shouldn't. Some people got kicked from my son HW's tournaments when he used to run them for trying to smurf in new player tournaments. Like, some people have been kicked from my tournaments for bringing politics into tournaments. Like, tournament hosts don't have to let anybody do anything. We provide a free service. So if you're going to be an asshole, we're probably not going to let you play. It doesn't matter if you're technically right. What matters is you're an asshole. Like, so just be nice. Just be nice. I would rather deal with someone who breaks the rules constantly and is nice than someone who obeys the rules and is a massive dickhead. Like, it's just how it goes. Be a nice person. Okay. That's it for me. Tomorrow I won't have a stream. Thursday we have the single faction tournament. It is in the European time zone. So if you want to participate in that, go ahead and sign up. It is the Mortal Champion. So if you are Undead or Chaos, that is not the tournament for you. It is kind of about the pre-Chaos Invasion factions, because they aren't getting as much love right now. A lot of the Demon factions and Warriors of Chaos and Undead factions are very strong. So we just thought we'd have a for-fun tourney where the non-super powerful factions are getting played. Okay? Okay. Do that to try and keep the tournament for fun. There's no cash prize, but I will write a silly poem about whoever wins, probably involving whatever faction they used to win and how the games went. So if it's like Loopy on Wood Elf Kite, I'll probably do something about Loopy and Wood Elf Kite. Yeah. Okay? Cool. Good stream, everybody. Turn has some weird mods on his Discord, though. Yeah, but I'm trying to say that it's like a tournament host's prerogative. Like, tournament hosts can technically be as weird as they want, right? They technically can. Because, like, you don't have to go there. It's kind of like complaining about a restaurant's food. It's like, I went to a Perkins and they served me some shitty pancakes. Yeah, you went to a Perkins, man. Like, you can't complain to a Perkins and be like, why don't you serve lobster? It's a Perkins. You came here. Like, you know what they serve. If you don't like it, you gotta go somewhere else. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, yeah, Turin has some weird mods, but he clearly likes his mods. I don't know. Everybody's got shit. Every tournament host has shit. Logic, love the guy. Never started his tournaments on time. Turin, love the guy. His mods could be a little strange sometimes. Anticity, love the guy. He's like super focused on data and analytics, so sometimes he can miss the forest for the trees on like, people had fun. And he's like, yeah, but my viewership is down and all this stuff. Like, you know, every tournament host has their shit. And my shit is, I just want people to be nice. That is it. I have like such a short fuse for people just being assholes to each other, because it's like, hey man, I'm trying to grow this community and you're in here making it terrible for 100 other people. So when I'm choosing between 100 other people and you, I'm choosing 100 other people every time. All right. Be nice. If you have pets, go give them pets. Go give them little pets.